I played 100 days of Stardew Valley 1.6. Hello everybody, this is GamerGar. Welcome to a huge long-form video of one whole year of Stardew Valley. That's right, I'm playing through a whole year, spring, summer, fall and winter. We're going to start by naming our farm, the 1.6 farm. We're going to pick one of the new dog pets, and we're also going to select the new farm type, the Meadowlands farm. So we're going to start with the coop, 2 chickens, and some other goodies such as blue special grass. We start by picking up 15 pieces of hay. We're not going to get the usual parsnips, not in this challenge. We're going to go check out our coop, check out our chickens to see how they're doing. I also noticed there's blue grass on the ground as well. If the chickens eat that, they do get some extra friendship points. So we're going to feed up our chickens, make sure they're nice and happy. These chickens will mature in a few days, and they will give us lovely eggs every single day afterwards. We're going to clear up some space on the farm. I am going to get some crops. I do have 500 gold to spend after all. I'm going to cut down some trees, whack some weeds, make a chest, and prep this fabulous farming ground for lovely crops. Our chickens are Porcini and Portobello, fabulous names. I also noticed we have some additional UI screens. What we see here is a screen that's going to hold all of our usual 1.5 special items, such as the wallet items, but also some books of power that we'll touch off later on in the challenge. We also have new fish types that have been added to the game. Let's see if we can capture every fish in the game within the first year. Let's also see if we can get every single artifact the game has to offer as well, just to set some challenges for ourselves. I noticed Pierre sells an item here called a dehydrator. We can place 5 pieces of fruit or edible mushrooms inside to dry them out. It will give us back an artisan good. I'm going to spend all my money on parsnip seeds because the chickens aren't going to cut it for a few days, so I do want to rely on crops for a while as our base source of money. At the end of day 1 we reach level 1 foraging. I got a cool new text here saying trees sometimes drop seeds. I don't think that was included in the 1.5. Correct me in the comments if I am wrong. It was time to check out the help wanted quests. Demetrius wants us to fish up some carp. He's offered 90 gold. I took this quest because we're going to be fishing up carp regardless, so having some 90 gold on the side is no harm to us. Our first fish of the challenge is a sardine. Let's go have a chat with Willie. He is selling a new item here called a fish smoker. To make it, we need a cave, river and sea jelly and some hardwood. The fish smoker will double the profits of any fish we put into it, including legendary fish. So we will get to absolutely abuse that later on in the challenge and make tons of money. For now, I'm going to purchase a training rod and focus on getting my skill up as fast as I can, just so I can get that larger fishing bar so I can take on the tougher fish. A pop-up appeared there that says you've got new ideas to sleep on. This means you've gained a level in a skill. So we just got our first level there. The Georgia Cola has been enhanced. We now get a +1 speed buff for 21 in-game seconds when we take the Georgia Cola. Very helpful for getting around. I got my first river jelly today. That's a new type of fish added to our fishing collection. 75 energy, 33 health and +30 max energy. I suppose it's alright, but I'm going to sell it to see how much money I get. The next day our chickens have fully grown up. They're going to pop out eggs every single day now, and we can even turn those eggs into mayonnaise later on. I'm also going to purchase the fiberglass rod off Willie. Now instead of getting the trout soup, I noticed he has a new item, catfish bait. He does have a huge rotating stock. I was just lucky to get catfish bait today. It dramatically increases the capture rate of catfish. So if I use catfish bait instead of regular bait, most of the time when my fishing bobber goes off, I get to challenge a catfish. And catfish are probably still one of the most profitable fish in spring. He also has deluxe bait. It makes my fishing bar a little bit bigger, and the fish also bite a little bit faster. It does cost 100 gold a piece, so I'm going to hold off on that for now. Later on in the day, I do put down some rice shoots, just because it's extra money for nothing. I don't have to water it at all. And for the rest of the day, I focus on the fishing collection. I pull up the eel there, and I get level 3 fishing at the end of the day, which was nice. Level 4 fishing, though, gives me the worm bin now. That used to be level 7 or 8 fishing, so it's nice to get that early. I still won't be using it, though, because it's just regular bait, and it is quite cheap. It is quite common. Taking a look at the calendar the next day, I noticed that a bookseller comes twice in the season. There's also another event that happens on the 15th, the 16th and the 17th of spring. At that moment in time, I had no clue what that was. I eventually learn that it is an event that takes place in the desert. So the challenge now that I have imposed upon myself is to get to the desert by day 15 of spring. A lot of you might think to yourselves that is impossible. Let's find out. I am GamerGar after all. It is time to go back to Pierre. I have some money from fish. I'm going to use it all on potatoes. They give really good XP and they also sell for really nice money. 60 potatoes in the bag. We're also going to visit Gunther as well. I was going to keep the ruby for the potential spicy eel when I get to the desert, but I decided to give him in the mineral just to get the ball rolling with his quest line. I got a new fish today. It's called a gobby, or maybe a goby. Let me know in the comments if it's goby or gobby. But it's a new fish, and it's actually worth quite a bit of money. Now, we can't see the cost of the fishies here, because I'm not using any mods on this video because the patch is new, so we're just going into this challenge with no mods. We do get some really cool items at around though that will display the cost of items. Level 5 fishing, we're going to get fish worth 25% more because right now I am all about making as much money as possible to get access to the desert. The gobby here sells for 150 gold and that's just a regular gobby. It'll be interesting to see how an iridium gobby fares up to that. It might be a very, very profitable fish indeed. Marnie visits us the next day with our brand new pet. She asks us, will we adopt a dog? Absolutely. We're going to call our lovely dog Chuck, because that's what my dog is called in real life. We can now have as many pets as we wish on this farm. The only requirement is to max out Chuck's friendship, and we can purchase some really cool pet bowls on off Robin, and then purchase pets off Marnie. It is now day number 5. It is time to do some cave crawling. I want to get down as quickly as possible to the bottom floors, because the gold bars early on sell for some decent money. And if I want to get into the desert, I'm going to have to sell everything that I absolutely can. I do get an early weapon upgrade. I can trade out my rusty sword for the wood club. It is quite the weapon to get early on in the challenge. It will make very short work of most of the starter to mid-tier enemies. I get level 10 and 20. I do get to steal small sword on level 20, but I throw it away because it just doesn't measure up to the power of the wood club that we have here. I do get loads of really cool carrot seeds out of crates, and carrot is basically a new crop that we can grow in spring. Concerned Abe has added a new crop like that to each season, so summer, fall and even winter we get some pretty cool crops that we can grow. I took on another help wanted quest. I noticed that there is a prized ticket for this one, and these tickets are really cool. We can take this prized ticket to Lewis's house, and he has a machine inside that will give us a reward, and you can get quite the potent rewards from that machine. Because it's Saturday, I fixed the bridge. I went over to the tide pool area and I'm going to pick up all of these forageables, sell these for extra money. I did a bit more fishing today. I picked up a sea jelly. This was my very first sea jelly, and what's good about this is it gives good energy and health, but it also gives a +1 to fishing. That could be handy. I won't use it though. I'm saving all my jellies to make the new artisan equipment. So I completed Mayor Lewis's quest. He gave me my very first prize ticket. I was very excited with this because it was all new, and it's been so long since new updates have hit Stardew Valley. I went to the prize machine here, and the first prize is going to be 12 carrot seeds. So I was really excited to put these carrots down into the farm, grow them up, and see how profitable they were, to see what kind of health and energies they gave. The rest of the day was spent fishing, this time in Cindersap Forest by the waterfall. Really cool aesthetic they're added to the map. I get my first dose of carrots today. Regular carrot, 75 energy, 33 health. It's not bad. It was Mayor Lewis's birthday. I gave him a carrot. He was actually fairly pleased with it, and I got him up to 2 out of 10 hearts, which wasn't bad at all. I went back to Pierre and I sold him the rest of the carrots to see what they were worth. 35 gold each, but they're only regular carrots, so it's not the end of the world. I do purchase 82 whopping kale seeds. I'm going to make a ton of money from these. Of course, it will require a lot of time, a lot of energy to water up that kale, but it'll be worth it. I also got some cauliflower there as a reward for giving Gunther some artifacts, and we're back down in the mines, wiping out some enemies, making some progress. We're on for 28 at the moment. I was hoping for some sneaky ancient seeds off of these bugs, but I don't get that lucky. Made it down to the dark floors and I picked up a dwarf scroll. I actually get very lucky with the dwarf scrolls. I do get a lot very early on, but it does take me quite some time to get the 4th scroll that I need to get the Dwarvish Translations Guide. I made it down to floor 40, I pick up the slingshot. I'm just going to throw that away because I don't use the slingshot. I will however keep the master slingshot. I will need that for Ginger Island later on. That's if I get to Ginger Island, of course. When I get copper ore on the mid-tier floors, I always pick it up because copper is needed for kegs. It's going to be needed for so many things later on in the video to make some decent money. I do get the Tundra Boots, that's extra armor for me. We're going to take all the defense we can get. I just wiped out an elite slime there. I picked up the lead rod. That's a big upgrade from the wood club. I was very happy with that. Managed to get a diamond on floor 56. I was really lucky there. The next day, I pulled up more cards from the ground. I will sell those cards for extra money. It was also time to check out a new area just up above the Georgia Mart, and I've never seen this area before, so this has been added with the 1.6 update. There was some forageables up here that I could collect, and I imagine this area would hold many more secrets that we get to uncover later on our fabulous adventure. So we're now in the 9th, and I need to be in the desert by the 15th. I needed more money, so we had to pack in the caves for just a little bit and focus on money. So I do decide to make some furnaces today. Now I made 5 furnaces in total. It did use up most of the copper I had, but it just means I won't have to make furnaces for a long time. Back to the mines, for 55 I got another diamond. They sell for 750 gold a pop, so that's a really good source of money early on. Double diamonds, the next floor, I got a second diamond, I was really happy with that. And on the next floor, floor 57, I got a mystery node with a 3rd diamond. That's 3 diamonds in one day. How can you ask for better luck? The crystal dagger on floor 60. I'm not going to throw the crystal dagger away. I'm going to keep it and sell it to Marlin in the Adventurers Guild for some extra cash. I will get a few hundred gold for that. It does make the difference early on. That's 200 extra gold in the bag. Level 6 fishing gives me a bait maker, and it also gives me a sonar bobber. The bait maker will give you back bait specific to the fish you put in there. That's very helpful. And the sonar bobber attached to a rod will basically tell you what fish you're trying to hook up. Both extremely useful fishing tools. We're now on day 10, and look at all these fabulous potatoes. We still have the kale grown, but we're going to get lots of money from this. We also got a skid up there as well, and because it was raining, we are going to attempt to pull up even more catfish. We're also going to go down to the tide pools to see if there's any other forageables we can get. The reason why I wanted to get some extra forageables is because I wanted to make the bait maker machine. I needed some coral, I needed a sea urchin and some iron bars to make it. I wanted to put in some catfish to get back some catfish bait so I can pull up even more catfish to make a profit. The help wanted quest had a prize ticket as a side reward. I picked it up straight away. It was then back down into the mines. We were wiping out dust sprites. There's a really cool quest indicator on the right hand side of the screen that tells us our progress every time we kill a dust sprite. It was really helpful to have that. Once the dust sprites were dead, I did use up the rest of the day to make some progress in the mines. I then went back to the farm. I created the bait maker. I'll just put it there beside the shipping bin. And any sort of fish that I want to get more of in the future, I can just bop it in there to make bait for that fish. I put in a gold star catfish, but I only got back 5 pieces of catfish bait. I wasn't too impressed with that. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I'll take it nonetheless. I can put that back into my rod and it will dramatically increase the capture rate of catfish. I got a cool cutscene here of Mr. Key flying over Stardew Valley, dropping all of these mystery boxes. And mystery boxes can be found all over the place. You can get them from hoeing up the ground, you can get them from killing enemies, cutting down trees, you can get them from fishing treasure chests. They're everywhere to be found. Demetrius came along. I selected mushrooms because mushrooms are way more profitable than the Batcave. The bookseller also visited Stardew Valley. He had loads of books here. Some books will just give you XP towards a specific profession. Other books will give you actual powerful passive skills like the Way of the Wind here. It was 15,000 gold, but it does make you run a little bit faster permanently. We also had Horse, the book, makes your horse run faster. Old Slither Legs makes you run faster through grass and crops. I mean, they're all really handy. The Woodcutter's Weekly just gives you foraging XP. But then we had the price catalogue. I wanted this the most. I just couldn't afford it right now because I wanted to get to the desert. That means you can see the value of your items in your inventory. So it's time to go to Georgia Road. Yes, Georgia for life. Let's drive together, everyone. 5,000 gold for the Georgia membership. And all I need now is 40,000 gold to get access to the fabulous desert. I had a few days to do it, but I was feeling confident in my money-making abilities. The next prize I got from using the prize tickets was an orange sapling. I just put that down in the farm. I was really curious about this iridium tea. At this moment in time, I'm calling it iridium tea because that's what it looked like. It looked like a fabulous cup of iridium tea. The rest of the day again was spent fishing because I needed to prioritize money. I really wanted to get into this desert event. It would be so nice to get to this event in the first year, especially because the 1.6 is so new. I just didn't want to wait a whole year to experience it. I got some mystery boxes too, and Clint can break those open. Level 3 foraging now gives moss soup, and it also gives the cookout kit. It's nice to get the cookout kit earlier rather than later. It was then time to water up our lovely kale, and in the next day or two that kale will fully mature and we can harvest it and get tons of money. I also got Clint to process these mystery boxes to see what they were all about. 10 mixed seeds is actually very impressive. That's 10 crops right there we can grow and sell. I also got 10 quality fertilizers. That's a game changer to get those early. That's going to dramatically increase the quality of my crops, meaning more money for me. I got a complete breakfast out of a trash can, I'll sell that. I also got the Master Slingshot on floor 70 in the mines. So I'm going to keep the Master Slingshot. I will need that for Ginger Island later on. For the rest of the day we're just making some regular progress through the mines. I did get a quest off Clint to fetch some iron ores. I decided to take that quest on because I was farming up iron ores anyway, so the extra money was just going to be a handy side project for me. All of these bats were a welcome addition, the bat wings I can sell, plus extra experience. I gave Clint his iron ores, he was over the moon about that, and there was extra money in the bag for me. I got 315 gold for those, and I get to keep the ores as well. Later on I fished up the Neptune's glaive. It has been slightly modified, it now gives a bonus +3 attack. It didn't have that in 1.5, it was really nice to get it. I also got a diamond as well, which was just beautiful. I got the bone sword for killing the skeleton enemies, but I'm going to swap it out now for the Neptune's glaive because it is a far superior weapon. The next day we're sighting up all of our kale. I also got a level up in farming. I believe that's farming level 6 now, so I can make some quality sprinklers going forward. I also got lots of eggs here from my fabulous chickens, and I do make mayonnaise machines very soon, and I'm going to put the eggs inside to make an additional profit going forward. I have 4 mayonnaise machines working there now at the moment. It was time to go to our fabulous Easter event. Now, I didn't come here to buy strawberries because I wanted to get into the desert. I came here just to ensure I didn't miss anything that might have been added to this because the 1.6 is new, lots of updates. I didn't find anything new that was added, so it was a bit of a waste. I did get a free straw hat though from whooping the kids at finding the Easter eggs, so I suppose there was that. Before the day ended, I did run down to the tide pools, I nabbed up the forageables and I processed some eggs into mayonnaise. Level 5 farming, I'm going to go with tailor crops for 10% more because I suppose I'm using more crops now than I'm using farm animals. I haven't even bought any additional chickens yet. I made lots of money today from selling crops and other bits and bobs. 11,000 gold. That money primarily came from selling the kale. Kale is actually quite a profitable crop. It's a very good spring crop indeed. And I got some money from the mayonnaise, 190 gold each. It wasn't too bad at all. So I'm going up to Robin today. I noticed she had a big chest recipe for 5,000 gold. I actually went up to sell some basic resources just to get my gold up to 40,000. In order to get 40,000, I would have to dig into some of my basic resources, such as clay and wood and stone and things like that. The big chest I will purchase later on. It does basically give you much more space than that of a regular chest. I also noticed that she had all of the brazier recipes accessible. You didn't have to buy one, come back out of the menu and go back in to buy another. They were all there for the taking, which was great. So to cap me off at 40,000, I created some spring seeds from all of the forageables I've been getting, and I decided to send them to Pierre. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth am I not making tea saplings? And that's quite simple. Concerned Ape has nerfed the tea saplings. How dare he? You probably thought it would stop me, it would prevent me from getting to the desert to see that event on year 1, but you cannot stop GamerGar, Concerned Ape. I am a 100-day machine. I can make money regardless of tea saplings or not. Anyways, back to the challenge. So we finally unlocked the bus. We're now back in the mines, made it down further, got the firewalker boots, and here is a fabulous scene of Morris working super hard, fixing up the bus so we can get to the desert on day 15. I also got level 8 fish and I can now make a deluxe worm bin. This is actually a very overpowered machine. The next day, we go down to the desert. I'm going to swap in here a diamond for triple shot espresso and a ruby for a spicy eel. There's tons of events going on here. What we have here now is basically a vendor that we can talk to every few in-game hours, and we can choose either the chicken, the snail or the scorpion to see who's going to win the race. If we choose correctly, we will get the main event resource, which is a calico egg. And the more of those eggs that we get, the more items we can buy from the various vendors around the event. Here's just one of many vendors. He's selling mystery boxes, mummy mask, blue bows, all different types of clothes, mega bombs, lucky lunches. He's also selling a woodcutter's weekly skill book there, which gives us foraging XP. We also had the travelling cart, but she was closed until noon, but that was just a regular travelling cart. We also had a scholar here who will take us on in a quiz. So for the first question, who runs the animal shop in Pelican Town? That was Marnie, simple. The next question though, what season is artichoke grown? I said fall, that was correct. And what season can you catch the squid? That was winter. All extremely simple questions. The last one was where you might catch lava eels. That was easily floor 100 in the mines. As first place, we get 50 calico eggs, which was pretty nice. This guy could send us home for 250 gold. It just doesn't make sense because the bus is literally right down there. Willie had a quest to catch 3 sandfish, and we would get more calico eggs for that. So I do spend some time fishing up the old sandfish here for good old Willie. Now this event spans across 3 whole days, and the quest activities within the event do slightly change over the 3 days. So Willie will get me to catch something different the next day and something different on the 3rd day. I did get very lucky though, and I got a diamond from a treasure chest there, and I can trade that in for another triple shot espresso if I want. There was also a chef that gave you an option to choose foods that he could make into a recipe for you. I chose the rare fruit for the first type, and for the second type I'm going to go with the uncomfortably hot sauce, because I am a huge fan of spicy foods in real life, and as far as I'm concerned, the spicier something is, the better. So I got a really cool cutscene here, and he's making the food for me, and it's actually going to give me a very powerful buff, and I can actually go into the Skull Cavern with that. It will help me greatly. The food I got was called Rumpled Fruit Skin, and it gives me a +3 luck and a +1 to speed. That'd be very helpful for Skull Cavern. We also had Shane as a vendor. He was selling pizzas, eggs, pepper poppers, things like that. The vendors change every single day, and sometimes you can actually even buy some of their weapons that were hidden in 1.5. You had to use the item spawner to get them. That was quite cool. There was also a clothes change installed as well, and I managed to get a full set of free clothes thanks to Emily, so it was a nice change of appearance. I got the camo shirt and the relaxed fit pants. I also came across another NPC called Cactus Man. He says that look in your eyes, it says I need a cactus or I'm gonna burst. Are you ready to welcome a new cactus into your life? I said yes, of course. Great, let's see. And he gives me a smiley looking cactus. I thought it was hilarious. This one's a little shy, but I know you'll become friends in no time. Well, the shy ones are always the best, aren't they? So it was just a cactus decoration. There was then Skull Cavern quests, treasure hunt and deep dive. I decided to go with deep dive to see if I could reach level 30 of the Skull Cavern. Now, it was 3:40 PM during the day. I was being a bit over optimistic there, but there were these cool statues that were now in Skull Cavern. They only pop up for the event though, and they give you extra perks. Sometimes though, they could give you debuffs, but I got 50 eggs off that one. I managed to grab an auto grabber on floor 13. Talk about lucky. I can put that auto grabber now into my coop. It's going to be a game changer. I also got lots of additional calico eggs down here as well. What's best, I didn't even need the skull key to go in, the event just overrided that. So I got an egg rating of 10. The egg rating all depends on how far you get down. I didn't get down very far. I didn't have an optimal setup. But Gil did give me a prize. He gave me 25 calico eggs for the attempt, which was nice. I also got level 5 mining today, so I'm going to go miner, +1 ore per vein. The next day there was a notice here saying I'm going to the festival today, so Pam wasn't driving the bus. Not to worry though, we can actually drive the bus ourselves. We do still have to pay 500 gold for the ticket though. It was back out to the desert for the second day of the event. This time, Willie tasked me with catching a scorpion carp. That wasn't much of an issue at all. Once I gave the scorpion carp into Willie, he gave me 50 calico eggs, which was great. I was now up on 261 eggs. Spoke to Marlon here as well to see what quests he had for the Skull Cavern dive. He had deep dive again, reached level 30, but he also had monster hunt. Slay 10 serpents. I go with monster hunt straight away because serpents are very common, and before you know it, you're going to have a serpent in your face in Skull Cavern, whether you like it or not. I tried to open up the trash can for more eggs, but Linus was already there before me. You just can't compete with him when it comes to trash cans, can you? The scholar had nothing else to say to me. I would have to wait a whole year before I could take on his quizzes again. We had new NPCs in the stalls. Abigail this time. We could purchase her bow, and we can also purchase her weapon there, which is a level 8 dagger, +4 crit chance. It's not bad, but I just didn't have the eggs for it. Caroline, was trying to sell me some tea saplings. I said, no, sorry Caroline, they've been nerfed. I want nothing more to do with you. Thanks for your service while it lasted though, we had fun times indeed. It was back into the Skull Cavern, picked up the dark boots. That's actually an upgrade from the Firewalker boots, especially in the defense department. 1 extra defense, I'll take that straight away. There was also a calico nose on the ground. We could mine these open for additional calico eggs that we could use with many of the merchants around the event area. I got very lucky today on floor 35, picked up a prismatic shard from blown open an iridium node. Today I got an egg rating of 20. I made it down to maybe floor 30 something, and Marlon was fairly impressed with that, so he gave me 100 calico eggs, and he also gave me an extra reward as well. He gave me a triple shot espresso. Level 4 foraging, I can now make a new item, a mushroom log. I'm telling you right now, these things are insanely overpowered. They're crazy good. I also going to get fighter because I got combat level 5. So I made some bombs today because for the last day I wanted to do pretty well in the Skull Cavern before we went back to our regular spring activities. It was time to go back to the desert and try our hand again at another Skull Cavern run. We're going to go with Monster Hunt again and try to slay 10 serpents. We're also going to get the chef to cook us up the exact same buff food as he done the last 2 times. So it's +1 to speed, +3 to luck. We're off to Skull Cavern. I got a hole here on floor 6. I got down 15 levels. That's the best you can get from a hole. It was very nice to get that. Inside a treasure chest, I picked up another prismatic shard. Super lucky. There was also a statue there as well that would give me a really cool buff. It gave me a speed boost, and that speed boost would last for the duration of the time I was in there. With all of the calico eggs, most of them anyway, I purchased all of the mystery boxes. I also got some strawberry seeds as well, and I got some other bits and bobs, including a skill book. I managed to find the mushroom cave. It was actually kind of hidden. It took me quite the exploration effort to find it. Inside was lots of different types of mushrooms. 4 common mushrooms, 2 red mushrooms. I needed 5 of a mushroom type though to use that dehydrator. That dehydrator will convert fruit into dried fruit. You're going to get big profits from it. And you do get a free one off Demetrius if you choose the mushroom cave. So it's just more perks to choose the mushroom cave. You don't get it if you choose the bat cave. I had 25 mystery boxes for Clint to open. What I got there was a mixed flower seed. When you plant those, depending on the season, you'll get back flowers. So because it's spring, you can get back tulips, for example, or jazzes. I got a book of mystery here. It's actually quite good. A slightly greater chance to find mystery boxes. And that is a book of power. So we can use that now to get a really powerful passive ability that we'll have for the rest of the game. So we just have to right click on the book and we've learned a new power. To check out our powers, we just have to go into this new UI screen. We can highlight over the book and it will tell us what it's all about. A slightly greater chance to find mystery boxes. We also had the forest magic as well, so we could read those Junimo Community Center requests. Back on the farm, we're going to plant down all of the mixed seeds we got from those mystery boxes. It does mean more money for us. Of course, we will have to water up the crops, but not to worry. We will have quality sprinklers very soon. I was plugging away with all of the artifacts and minerals with Gunther because I got a lot of geodes out of the Skull Cavern, which was nice. It's time to go back to the desert today, and we're going to swap in our prismatic shard for a galaxy sword. And to get a galaxy sword this early is a game changer. We don't even have level 120 of the regular mines unlocked. So we're going to go back down to the regular mines now to make progress with a galaxy weapon, which is totally unheard of. But look, with new updates comes new opportunities, and it just makes for really versatile play, which is what I love about this update. I also had some bombs too I was letting off just to make faster progress in the mines. I wanted to get down to floor 120 as quickly as possible to get their skull key, so I could start doing Skull Cavern runs. I picked up the obsidian edge there on floor 90. Pales in comparison though to the galaxy sword, so just sell that instead. I made 12,000 gold today, primarily from selling iridium bars that I got in Skull Cavern. They sell for 1,000 gold a pop. Eventually they will sell for 1,500 gold once we get that lovely level 10 mining perk. Floor 100 got the star drop happy days, and we're still progressing even further. I came across a load of crates here, was getting more mystery boxes and stuff like that. Got down to floor 120 eventually, picked up the skull key. We can now do Skull Cavern runs, which was nice. The next day I got fined 1,000 gold for passing out before I got to the farm because it was very late when I got the skull key. Not to worry though, sometimes we do have to make sacrifices to make some decent progression. it was time to harvest some cauliflowers now. And I was going to keep 1 gold star cauliflower for the luau in summer for that lovely friendship bonus. And I was going to keep 1 more for the Jodie side quest, because Jodie will eventually ask me for a cauliflower. It was time to upgrade some tools. We're going to start with the copper pickaxe, because it was just getting to the point now where it was taking too many swings to break open regular nodes in the regular mines. And if I go into Skull Cavern with a regular pickaxe, it's just going to be painful. So Willie has a new bobber machine. It's absolutely amazing. At the moment we have a few bobber styles we can select from. I'm going to go with the duck. I mean, it has to be the duck. It's absolutely one of the coolest bobbers there. For the rest of the challenge, you're going to see me fish with a cool duck bobber. I also purchased a pizza off Gus because I want to dance with someone for the flower dance event, and I feel like the best person now to do that with will be Shane, because his birthday is coming up and I want to give him the pizza to get the bonus friendship points. I wanted to do it with Haley, but I forgot about her during the events over on the desert, so it's going to be Shane now who's going to pick up the pieces. So this is going to get me a lot of friendship points with Shane because he loves pizza, and I just have to give him 1 or 2 more gifts to get him up to 4 hearts, so he'll dance with me during the flower dance event. I'm also going to fill up the farm now with kale, tons of kale, because I'd like to go into summer with some decent money, especially for starter, things like that. So I spent the whole day putting down kale, watering it up, and I also put 5 common mushrooms into this dehydrator, and it does take a full day for that dehydrator to work its magic. It is worth it though, you get back some nice profits. Outside of my lovely chicken's coop there were trees and rocks and other debris. I decided to clear away all of the debris. I also decided to clear away the regular grass so the special blue grass would expand itself, because if they eat that, they get bonus friendship. Level 5 foraging, I'm going to go with forester because we're not really using tea saplings at all. Trees drop 25% more wood. That will be needed, especially for kegs and whatnot later on in the video. The next day I picked up dried common mushrooms, 113 energy and 50 health. What I was curious about the most though was how much it was going to sell for, so I do sell it. I gave Shane a beer today and then I spoke to him, and just by talking to him gave me just enough friendship points to push him up to 4 hearts, which was great. I could now ask him to be my flower dance partner. I also had a look at Marnie's stock. She was selling new decorations here, dog houses, cat trees, even a birdhouse. It was all really cool stuff. I had to buy some hay off Marnie because I didn't have a silo just yet and I was running out of hay. I will prioritise a silo eventually. It's time to get some chickens. Let the naming convention begin, and I'm going to name all the animals off of my channel members. So we have Dara and Pantox and Katie. For the rest of the day I'm just pulling up some fish to get more money. I also want to get my fishing skill to 10 so I can get a go off the legend before the season is finished with. So I got 325 gold from those dried common mushrooms. That is a profit, just so you know, because if I sold those 5 mushrooms without processing them, I would have only got 200 gold. So I'm at 125 gold profit there from that. It was time to smelt some bars, go back in here to the coop, check up on our lovely mayonnaise collection. It was then off to Robin. I was going to get Robin to construct a silo here because hay is just too expensive early on in the game, and the silo is very cheap to make and it will save us tons of money. Got my copper pickaxe off Clint, but we're going to give in the axe now to upgrade to a copper axe because I wanted to get rid of all those tree stumps on the farm, and I also wanted to get my hands on some early hardwood. The bookseller was back in town. I had 6,000 gold. I purchased a skill book here just to get some fishing XP, just to help me get up to level 10 fishing. Then went into the caves. I got the ghost fish, I got the stonefish. It was then off down and I got a cave jelly. That was my first cave jelly. I was trying to get the ice pip, but the cave jelly gives you +1 to luck. That's actually pretty cool. But I'm keeping all the jellies to make those lovely smoking machines that are on so we get the double the value of the fish. I pulled up an ice pip, which was nice, and it was down to floor 100 to try to get lava eels. That wasn't happening today. I needed to get better gear for the lava eel, so I purchased an iridium rod with a trap bobber, and I was finally able to get lava eel then. I was just getting bad luck on the previous day. It just kept escaping me. With the lava eel caught, that was all of the cave fish done, including the cave jelly. I found another book of power here from a fishing treasure chest, Jewels of the Sea. Finding treasure chests has a chance to give you raw, and that raw is specific to what kind of fish you pulled up. So if you pulled up, we'll say a largemouth bass, you could potentially get largemouth bass raw, which is really nice. That means if you were to put up a lava eel, you could get lava eel roe. That stuff is actually quite profitable. Level 10 fishing, of course, we would get angler. Fish worth 50% more. And then it was pulling up lots of shoot-ups the next day from our farm, thanks to our new type of flower mixed seeds, which is really nice. So we're going to have to water up the crops, and then we are going to the flower dance. We're going to get the tub of flowers recipe here, because we will need all of the recipes. We will need to make everything to get perfection. I'm also going to get the rare crow as well, and it was time to boogie on down and show off my skills as the new queen of the flower dancers. The next day it was raining, got some more dried common mushrooms. I also got some coffee beans and some strawberries as well, which was nice. Pulled up some cauliflowers and we're off to Clint to get our copper axe back. We could now get our hands on some hardwood. It was then time to eat a dish of the sea that gives me +3 to fishing, and it was time to take on the legend fish himself. I actually managed to get it on the first attempt, which was nice. In my opinion, the legend is way easier than the glacier fish. I think truly the glacier fish is the hardest fish to get in the game. Even though the legend does spurt around quite a lot, it is quite contained, it's quite controlled compared to that of the glacier fish. With the legend caught, I wasn't going to sell it straight away. I wanted to smoke this thing up to see if it would actually double the value of that fish. For the rest of the day, I was just getting catfish because they're still quite profitable, and I wanted loads of money going into summer. I went to Clint as well to get my pickaxe upgraded to a steel pickaxe. In my opinion, that's the minimum requirement for a skull cavern run, which would be a steel pickaxe. The next day, it was time to start making some quality sprinklers. For that, I needed some refined quartz. I also needed some iron and gold bars. The kale was ready to be harvested, so I'm going to get loads of money now from all this kale, and I'll be able to set up the farm then with sprinklers for a good summer production. I made lots of quality sprinklers today, 10 in total for now. I do end up making more though, and they're going to make life so much easier going forward. I didn't have the luxury of the UI info suite, so I actually had to focus here, putting down the sprinklers to make sure that they covered all of the spots and that they didn't overlap with each other. I also went to Pierre because it was his birthday. I gave him a kale, and he was fairly happy with that. I then sold the rest of the kale to Pierre, bringing me up to 34,000 gold, which was really nice indeed. I decided to treat myself to the last backpack upgrade, so I'm not throwing away valuable items. It was then finally time to make the fish smoker. I had all of the cave jellies caught just to make one, and I had some hardwood as well from breaking open some stumps with my copper axe. It actually accepted the legend fish, so it's going to be very interesting to see if it will actually double in value. If it does, then the whole fishing mechanic of Stardew Valley will have dramatically changed, and we'll be able to use that smoking machine to make some serious money later on. For the rest of the day, we're running around the farm, got some unmilled rice there, and I was just collecting some hay as well from my silo to keep my fabulous chickens happy. I try my best to ignore the bluegrass just so that can expand more. And there we have it, a smoked legend. 22,500 gold. It's absolutely incredible. Incredible profits. It was back to Robin now the next day. It was time to construct another building. This time I wanted to go with the big coop. I wanted to expand the animal kingdom on our lovely 1.6 farm. Not only will this give us a population of up to 8 animals, but it can also take ducks. Got my steel pickaxe off Clint. Happy days. It was time then to upgrade our axe to a steel axe. This just means that I can go to a lot more areas now around the map, including the secret woods, where you've got lots of tree stumps inside there. It was time for a Skull Cavern run. I got 6 spicy eels, and I just spent the whole day in the Skull Cavern, just blowing up ores and whatnot. Now, I didn't make it down too far today, but you have to start somewhere. I did, however, come across some really nice resources. I got a few bits of iridium ore, not a huge amount. And I got 1 or 2 treasure rooms as well. I picked up a few small bits in those. Nothing major though. The serpents were really nice to kill because they were dropping mystery boxes and things like that. I came to this room here, number 48, and I kid you not, I had to break open almost every single node in this room to finally get an exit. Now, in all fairness, I got a hole that dropped down 11 floors, but it was just a kind of a bad day in the Skull Cavern. I did get the final dwarf scroll though, so I can now finally get Dwarvish Translations Guide. And that dwarf is really handy because we can buy bombs off him as well if we need bombs going forward. It was time to go back to Morris. I had 21,000 gold. I wanted to unlock the minecarts because the fast travel was just really screwing me over right now, and it's a great time saver. I also picked up a quest here for Clint. He wanted me to mine up 15 coals to aid in understanding of local minerals. I didn't care too much about the coals. What I did care about was that fabulous prize ticket. So it was straight down into the regular mines, killing dust sprites to pick up coal, and it was going to be another lovely prize ticket off Clint. Back to the ticket machine to get another lovely reward. This time, it was going to be 15 of those flower seeds, but I just needed 2 more tickets. I could get that lovely iridium cup of tea to see what it was all about. We were now finally in the season of summer. And as we can see, the bookseller comes twice on a summer. We had the luau event and the Dance of the Moonlight Jellies, but there was a new event, the Trout Derby, which took place on the 20th and the 21st. So it's going to be very interesting to see what that event is about and what kind of rewards we can get from it. First things first though, it was back to Clint to get our steel axe, and then it was off to the desert just to buy some starfruit from Sandy. But before that, we had a look around and I got a new item here. Summer squash seeds. And this is basically the equivalent of the carrots we got in spring. Because we're now in summer, we get squash seeds instead. And they take a few days to grow, but they would produce afterwards until the season's over with, so it's really cool. Sandy was also selling mannequins here, male and female, and we could put hats and all sorts of clothes on them, and it's going to make for a really cool decoration item. We can set those up all around the farm. Now, I had some money, so I was able to get 69 starfruit seeds here in total. That wasn't too bad now going into the summer. Obviously, I have done much better in the past, but because there's so many new updates now to experience, I didn't really want this to be a super, money run. I want it to be more of a varied run, just so I get to experience all of the content. It was then time to do more fishing. Summer is here, and all of the new fish need to be picked up for the fishing collection. The super cucumber is a really good fish for profits. I also had to go at the legendary fish of summer, the crimson fish. He didn't give me too much trouble. I will smoke this fish though and get double the profit for this one. It's going to be really nice. I did smoke a few fish. As we can see, the smoked crimson fish, double the value, almost 6,800 gold, and a smoked super cucumber coming in at 1,100 gold. That's not bad at all, and it just goes to show how overpowered this fish smoker is going to be. So I got some other fish goodies today, the tuna, tilapia, the red mullet. I also got the pufferfish as well, all needed for the fishing collection of course. I also decided to go into the secret woods here and have a gander, so I broke away the big tree stump there. And the great thing about the secret woods is that these tree stumps will still spawn every single day, so we're never going to run out of hardwood. I also got the wood skip here too. The wood skip is a fish native to the secret woods, so we need that for the fishing collection. It was time to make a tree farm using acorns because I needed to get oak resins to make kegs down the road. I managed to hoe up a skill book, the Stardew Valley Almanac, and we just had to read this to get some farming XP, which is really nice. So it's just nice to pick up books like that and to get some bonus XP. I think it just makes the game way more fluid. I went to Robin here as well. It was time to construct a fish pond. The reason for this was I was just basically investigating to see if I could put those jellies into the fish pond to get back loads of jellies to make loads of the smokers for the fish. So Willie was selling super cucumber bait today, and I purchased all of this because super cucumber is one of the most profitable fish in summer. So I'm going to put that bait into my rod to see if I can get tons of super cucumbers, and I did. The bait is actually really effective. So Robin is making a fish pond there, but I'd made a mistake. I put the construction beside my orange tree sapling, and now my orange tree sapling is not going to grow, so I'm going to have to move that fish pond when it's fully built. I got Clint to break up more geodes though because I really wanted to make some more progress here with Gunther, and the progress is coming along quite well. I do have a lot of minerals now and artifacts handed in from doing the Skull Caverns, getting geodes and fishing. I managed to get to Dorado today, and that's actually a very rare fish to get in Cindersap Forest. There was a quest here to go to the local mines and kill 4 of those crab creatures. I didn't care too much for the quest itself, but when I saw the prize ticket, I just couldn't help myself. It was straight down into the mines on a crab onslaught. The next day was a very weird day. The screen was a bit kind of green, and when I clicked on the weather report, it was just loads of dots on the telly. I went outside to this green strange rain, and I noticed that there was weeds littered all over my farm. Some weeds were small, some were really big. But there was also weird looking trees on my farm as well, and I was very curious about this. I didn't know if it was a super rare event, or if you were guaranteed to get this event on the 5th. I also picked up a mossy seed, and it says this can be planted to grow rare and wild trees. So I was actually quite interested in this. And I always thought that that was going to be some sort of a star drop tree, but no, it's to grow some sort of a rare and wild tree. I was getting loads of moss from wiping out these weeds and whacking the trees, and moss is needed for a few recipes in the game. So I went into the saloon here to talk to a few people, and Mayor Lewis had just got off the phone with the governor. Apparently this rain is supposed to be completely harmless, just an unusual phenomenon of nature. Still, some of the townsfolk are panicking, which is never good. I spoke to a few more people just to get the dialogue. Gus says, I saw their weather report, and he wants to know if there's monsters out there. Willie says, oh, I hope these weird rains don't bother the fish, it could ruin me life. All Willie thinks about is fish, in all fairness. Willie needs to expand these horizons. Pam thinks it's a sign from the Almighty we're doomed. Pam can be so funny at times. Time to speak to someone with a calm mind. Linus says, all these strange trees will be gone tomorrow. It's one of the mysteries of nature, and that confirmed it. I had one day to make the most of this weird weather condition. Demetrius was in a hazmat suit. Don't mind me, Gamer Gar, I'm just collecting some samples. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you see my wife, can you tell her I'm okay? I came across another tree here. I cut it down straight away, and I got fiddlehead ferns from it. So interesting. The wizard says, though the unusual rains may be alarming, there is nothing to fear on this day. In fact, it is a day of great joy for many living things. So, that was nice to hear. The wizard would have some knowledge about that as well. The next day, my trees went back to normal. All of the weeds disappeared. I did, however, have 2 new items. I had tons of moss, and I had mossy seeds. And I planted those seeds, and I will put fertilizer on those once I manage to get that from the foraging skill. So this is my current tree farm. Also, I believe that green rain acted as some sort of a fertilizer, because some of my trees grew very quickly. So I think the green rain also helps all of your trees grow very fast. It was finally time to get this iridium tea. But in fact, it wasn't called iridium tea, it was called star drop tea. At least I was half right. A very special gift that would delight anyone. It's basically a universal loved gift that anybody loves. I also pulled up the octopus today, it was quite a catch. So I tried to see if I could put a jelly into the fishing pond, it wasn't letting me. That was a huge bummer. I really hope there's some sort of a way that we can farm tons of these jellies so we can make loads of fish smoking machines so we can double the price of loads of fish at once. So I just put the octopus in there instead, just to do something with the fish pond. Octopus roe isn't bad when it comes to selling. It was time for another lovely community development project. This time we're going to go with the bridge and travel to the quarry to see if 1.6 added anything new to the quarry. Morris is working super hard here with his co-workers fixing up the bridge. The next day we start by pulling up some lovely coffee beans. We also get our first summer squash, 130 energy and 50 health. I will sell that though, to see how profitable it is. It's probably going to be the same as the carrot though. I also went to Robin. I'm going to get her to build a barn so we can put cows and everything else inside it. Linus says, how did the moss harvest go? Hee hee, my bed is a lot softer now. You gotta hand it to Minus, he'll make the best out of any situation. It was then time to smelt some bars. I had a chat with the travelling cart lady today. I'm going to purchase a rare seed from her so I can get that star drop in fall. So that's a no-brainer right there. She also sold a retro catalogue for 111,000 gold. I might purchase that later on if I end up with tons of money. I spent a good portion of today just breaking down wood. I finally got level 7 foraging, bring on the tree fertilizer. The quarry had some new nodes. It had some coal nodes. This was a much needed feature of the game. Some sort of a node that gave coal. It was always really hard to get coal, now it's a bit easier. When I went into the quarry cave though, I noticed a massive rock here. And I couldn't actually break it open with my steel pickaxe. What was inside at the time I didn't know. But I got really excited and I just wanted to upgrade my pickaxe as quickly as possible to see what was in there. I tried a bomb, it didn't work. I tried the one just up above as well before I got the golden sight. Wasn't happening. I picked up the golden sight. Now, just in case there's some sort of secret or trick behind it, I equipped the golden sight. I just swung at it just to see if anything would happen. But no, it was an actual rock and I needed a stronger pickaxe to break it open. I went to Gus here now. It was his birthday. I gave him the star drop tea and he absolutely loved it. It put him right up to 3 hearts. That was pretty nice indeed. It was then back to Clint. It was time to upgrade my tools. I was going to get the gold pickaxe there as fast as I could, just so I can venture further into that quarry cave. So I made tons of worm bins there. You're probably asking why I'm making worm bins. And the answer is simple, to upgrade them to deluxe worm bins. These deluxe worm bins will now generate deluxe bait every single day, which is absolutely amazing. Deluxe bait is just so good. A bigger fishing bar and fish will bite at a faster rate. What more could you ask for? I finally got level 8 farming. I could now make kegs. Praise Yoba. It was time to make some serious money. But we had to wait for the starfruit to come to fruition first. The next day I got lots of deluxe bait, which was nice. I also made loads of tree fertilizer, just to expedite the growth on all of my ever-growing trees. I also noticed that a lot of my trees had some green texture on them, and if I whack those trees with my sword, I'd actually get back moss, which is going to be really helpful. I also visited the bookseller today, good old Marcelo's Books. I had 17,000 gold, so I wanted to get the price catalogue, which would finally show me what everything is worth, instead of having to sell it and then checking the prices out the next day. It was just a total game changer right there. A new book of power has been learned, and that's the price catalogue. You'll also notice too that I got another book to the right, that's the Monster Compendium. Just so you know, all that book of power does is sometimes monsters will drop additional loot. I picked up the gold pickaxe off Clint today. It was time to go straight back into the quarry to see what secrets lay ahead. I noticed a new enemy here, some sort of a weird looking skeleton. I'm pretty sure they pop up in the hardened versions of the mines, but he only dropped bone fragments and that was kind of it, didn't drop anything else. There wasn't anything else really in this expanded part of the quarry cave. It was just an expansion with more nodes and whatnot. If anybody has figured out any sort of additional secrets with the quarry cave, please let me know. I have a sneaking suspicion that there's more secrets to be had inside those 2 rooms. I got extremely lucky today. I managed to get a magic rock candy off a floaty skull. This is something like a 0.1% drop rate chance to get a magic rock candy off a floaty skull, and it actually happened to me and I had footage to show it. I was so happy with that. It's probably one of the rarest things that can happen to you inside this game, is to get a magic rock candy off a floaty skull. My octopuses wanted refined quartz. Who am I to say no? It was back to fabulous Georgia to get another project completed. This time we had a choice between the greenhouse and the panning. We're going to go with the panning, and what's great about this is that we can actually upgrade the pan now to make it better. It was Maru's birthday. She got a battery pack, more friendship points for Maru. We are going for perfection after all, so it is in our best interest to capitalise on those birthdays for the bonus friendship points. Marius surely must be the most hard-working man in Stardew Valley, besides myself of course. It was time for the luau. We finally get to use our ghost, our cauliflower. That's going to give us the best result with the governor, and that is going to give us an absolute ton of friendship points with all of the Stardew Valley NPCs. Mayor Lewis is very happy with it as well. The next day it was time to put a tapper on this new tree, but the tree wouldn't take the tapper, so we couldn't tap this tree for any sort of resource. But this tree wasn't useless. This tree will occasionally generate moss that we will get to collect, so it's basically a moss tree. Back down into the mines, and we are collecting iron ores. We're gearing up for the big Skull Cavern run. So I wanted coal, I wanted iron ores to make bombs. I went to Gus, I purchased loads of salads so I can sustain myself for big Skull Cavern runs as well. And I then went to the dwarf. I wanted to get the dwarvish safety manual book of power. Bombs deal 25% less damage to us. That's a game changer right there. But I couldn't afford it because I spent most of my money on salads and whatnot. I do get it later on though. I went back into the quarry just to see if anything new would happen. A new enemy spawned here, but this is just another regular enemy from the hardened versions of the mines. Nothing special going on there. I made more bombs today, 51 in total thanks to all of the iron ores that I gathered in the regular mines. I then took the magic rock candy I got from the floaty skull. It was time to do a serious Skull Cavern run, and what a run it was. So I got down to floor 17, picked up a white turban. It's actually one of my favourite hats, and I equipped that straight away, just to kind of change up my style a bit. I got an ambush floor on floor 32. Normally I do skip past the ambush floors, but I really wanted a dinosaur egg, and these dinosaurs also count towards monster eradication goals. So I said, you know what, let's just wipe them all out. I managed to get another auto grabber here when I got close to floor 100. Super lucky, I can put that into the barn when I fill it up with barn animals. I passed out on floor 97, I was so close to get to floor 100. But it was a good run, and I got level 10 mining. We're going to go with blacksmith, metal bars worth 50% more. That'll be a game changer for those iridium bars. The next day I pulled up some starfruit, I also pulled up some melons. All that starfruit now can be converted into starfruit wine. But I wanted to see what else the 1.6 had in store. So instead, I'm just going to sell all the starfruit directly to Pierre, because I just wanted to get into Ginger Island. I know I could have made way more money if I just waited a few more days, but I'm very impatient. It was time to unlock the greenhouse, and now I can finally go to Ginger Island and see what updates Concerned Ape has put inside there. I also got the safety manual, Book of Power. I'm also going to pick up the rare crow here as well off the dwarf. We will need all of the rare crows to get the deluxe rare crow, which is needed for perfection. I smelted some iridium bars and did some fishing up beside the Adventurers Guild. Here's a great scene of a raccoon running away from a construction site, but Morris is working hard fixing up my greenhouse. Thank you very much, Morris. The next day was the big celebration day. We have completed all of the current Georgia community developments. We get the soda machine. The soda machine is now actually quite good because the Georgia Cola gives you a speed buff. It's actually not a bad machine at all. The next day, I'm putting down some electrical rods. They're going to give me some battery packs when we get to stormy weather. I'm also going to get some hardwood here. I need to repair the hull of the ship, so I need lots of hardwood. I checked out the mushrooms. I got a few purple mushrooms. I'm actually saving up all those different mushroom types to see how profitable the dried mushroom variant is. Gunther visited me the next day. He's going to give me now the key to the sewers so we can get down to Krobus so we can see if Krobus has any new and exciting items for us since 1.6 released. I'm also going to make some kegs here. I'm just making 9 kegs at the moment, but I do end up making a lot more. I'm just going to put the kegs inside of my coop. I managed to keep a few starfruit aside to put into these kegs, so these starfruit will pay off big time. Starfruit wine is of course one of the most profitable artisan goods in the game. 200 hardwood for the hull repair, 5 battery packs to repair the ticket system, and 5 iridium bars to repair the anchor. So the boat was now fully fixed up. We can now venture forth to Ginger Island. We also unlocked the door to the stores. We had a chat with Krobus here, and he had a few new things. He has a wizard catalogue, butterfly powder, sprinkle on a pet to remove them from your farm and it's permanent. Who would ever want to use butterfly powder? Shame on you if you use it. Shame on you. It was time to get that juicy star drop though and increase our maximum energy. I managed to pull up the decorative trash can out of the fountain here because I just think it's a really cool decoration. I then went back down to the regular mines and was farming some iron ore for the quest for Clint. But the iron ore will come in handy anyway to make kegs and other stuff down the road. So I managed to get a very rare item here from a trash can, and it was the garbage hat. And it's just such a rare hat to get. I just had to show it in my footage. I have opened up hundreds and hundreds of trash cans, and this is something that never comes out. So I was quite fortunate to get that. Here's a cool scene of Robin and Willie fixing up the boat so we can now do Ginger Island runs. I got my iridium pickaxe today, and it couldn't have come a moment sooner because the volcano dungeon is quite a difficult dungeon to do if you don't have an iridium pickaxe. So we're now taking the boat down to Ginger Island. What new mysteries await us? The first thing we need to do anyway is gather all of the golden walnuts so we can make some decent progression on Ginger Island. And these golden walnuts are scattered all over the map. The first one is more or less a freebie given to you just before you get to Leo's house. But we also get 3 tent kits, and tent kits are really useful. If you put down a tent, you can go to sleep straight away. You'd wake up the next day in exactly the spot you put down that tent. It's so good. There's a secret golden walnut just down there to the south of the south pedestal. There's also a golden walnut in the tree there inside Leo's house. We're going to talk to this parrot and open up some of the Ginger Island map. There's golden walnuts that can be hauled up all over the place. I'm just going to show you a few here. It's just basically a quick tactic on how we can get the house the first day we come here. There's also a Georgia parrot here. If we click on him, it wants 1,200,000 gold to find golden walnuts. Now just so you know, that price scales with how many walnuts you've currently found. So the more golden walnuts you find, the less you have to pay that parrot to find the rest. It's actually really handy if you're very close to getting 100 golden walnuts. and you just want to get into Key's secret walnut room, if you have a few 100,000 gold on you, you can just pay that. It'll find all of them for you then, and you can just go get on with the rest of the Ginger Island. I do not recommend it for players new to Ginger Island. I would highly recommend that you seek out the walnuts on your own and just don't buy your way to success, because it is quite the experience finding all the golden walnuts the way they're originally meant to be found. So this is just a mini puzzle here. You can hit him with a watering can too if you have an upgraded watering can. So we upgrade the house, which means we don't need to use the tent kits. We can sleep here tonight, wake up the next morning. But we do go back to Stardew Valley because I wanted to look at the books again, and I had some money here. So I purchased the book here that increases my movement speed. That's a new book of power. I go back to Ginger Island. I spent half the day on this cursed minigame. It took me about 20 attempts to get it right. Oh, if Concerned Ape is listening, please make that event easier, please. It was then off doing a volcano run, and there's some really good stuff you can get in the volcano. We do need golden walnuts from here though. There's 5 you can get from killing monsters, there's a few you can get from the chests, there's 5 you can get from mining open ores, and there's 5 from the dwarvish caches. The dwarf vendor on floor 5 sells the Diamond Hunter Book of Power. All stones have a chance to drop a diamond when mined by hand. That means if you're using your pickaxe, not using bombs, you have a chance to get a diamond. It's quite the Book of Power, but you need 10 diamonds to buy it, so we will save up and come back to that later. There was a strong windstorm during the night. Never got that before, didn't really know at the time what it meant, but it does open up a really cool and cute quest line for us that we get to experience soon. So we're just making our way now to the volcano dungeon again. Want to get up to the forge this time, and I have a lot of bombs here on me, so we're getting lots of golden walnuts. We're also getting journal scraps as well, and some of those journal scraps are important to get more golden walnuts. We get a prismatic shard getting up to floor 10, and our first enchant is going to be on our galaxy sword. We get Bug Killer. I was hoping for Crusader, but Bug Killer isn't bad. It does mean we can one-shot those armoured bugs in the Skull Caverns. It's now time to free Professor Snail. This will unlock his archaeology side quests. We have to go and find all of the fossils around Ginger Island to get loads of golden walnuts. We're going to do his survey report. Luckily, Concerned Ape has not changed any of the answers here to the 2 questions that are asked. It's still the exact same answers as before. He did, however, nerf one artifact in particular. It's now super simple to get. It's going to surprise you. But before we get to that, it is time to go back to Stardew Valley. The annual Trout Derby has begun. So we're going to collect our battery packs, pet our dog, and we're going to go down to Cindersap Forest. And basically every time we catch a rainbow trout, we have a chance to get a golden tag. The more golden tags we get, the better prizes we get off the merchant. That's basically the whole event. You could spend the whole day here fishing up rainbow trouts. When we click on get reward, then we're going to get numerous rewards. We can get tents, we can get diamonds, we can get other bits and pieces, but a diamond is probably the best thing you can get. The quality sprinkler isn't bad, but if you're big on farming, by the time you get to the more or less end of summer, you don't really need extra quality sprinklers. Nonetheless though, it was a cool event. I got a bucket hat, which was a new hat item, and so I decided to put it on straight away to see what it looked like, and I think it does look kinda stylish, if I do say so myself. It was then back to the dwarf. It was his birthday. I gave him a lemon stone. He was very happy with that. Get my extra friendship points there. It was then time to check out this new quest line. I noticed when I went back down to Cindersap Forest, there was a question mark above this tree stump. When I clicked on it, it said the old tree is gone. However, with 100 pieces of hardwood, this could be fixed up. I was so excited. I got my axe straight away and it was off, going all through Stardew Valley, getting all of the hardwood I could. When I was finished with all of the stumps, I went over to Ginger Island. There was loads of hardwood over here to be gotten, so getting 100 pieces was super simple because of all the hardwood you can get on Ginger Island. I fixed up the tree stump straight away and I turned it into a small cute little house. It even had a window and a light on inside and a little chimney. It was the cutest thing ever, and I wondered to myself, who's going to move into this house? What's going to happen? I was just so excited. It was then time to get lots of starfruit wine. This was sell for loads of money, but before I sold it, I got level 10 farming. So we're going to go to Artisan, so I get 40% more for the wine. I made some iridium sprinklers today. I'm going to put those down inside the greenhouse. And I'm going to use the greenhouse primarily for bits and bobs. Maybe I'll put some starfruit in here in fall. Might put some other stuff in here as well. but it took me a while to put down those sprinklers because I didn't have the UI Info Suite mod activated. But I think I did a pretty good job. I hoed up the place and then I planted some more starfruit seeds I purchased off Sandy here. I got 102 in total, which wasn't too shabby at all. There was a little bit of a patch left over, but that wasn't a bad thing. I could put other stuff to fill up that patch. A raccoon moved into the house. He says, hungry, need fish, and he was looking for 5 cockles and a smoked tilapia. Not to worry, I was on it straight away. Now I did need 1 or 2 more cockles, so I put down some fishing traps there to get that. I did go back to him though with the tilapia. I got that fairly easy enough, and that was an iridium quality. Didn't make a difference to him though. I just had to wait for the cockles in the meantime. So it was like a mini community centre, but just doing it with a raccoon instead. I wonder, is he a cousins of Rocket? I wonder, does Concerned Ape like watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's where he got inspiration to put a raccoon down there? Who knows? I finally gave in the cockles. He says, thanks Bobo, take this. I was rewarded with 25 broccoli seeds, and I figured these were similar to the carrot seeds and the summer squash seeds, but you just plant these in fall and it would just give you back broccoli, which is really cool. Who doesn't love a good plate of boiled broccoli, am I right? Or steamed broccoli. I got some catfish today. It was Willie's birthday. He loves catfish. More friendship points there for Willie. I then decided to put some of my many coffee beans into the kegs to get back some coffees. I could turn those into triple shot espressos. I also put down some more tree seeds here as well to get some hardwood in the future, and I put the broccoli inside my greenhouse because I wanted to see if it was going to be the same as the carrots and the summer squash. Level 8 foraging, I can now make the survival burger, but more importantly the tent kit. I can tell you right now, the tent kit is going to be very important for highly successful Skull Cavern runs in the future. Because it was Thursday, Sandy was selling deluxe speedgrow for 80 gold a pop. I purchased loads. I put that down in the greenhouse later. I went to Robin. It was time to construct another farm building. This time we'll go with the big barn so I can put even more barn animals inside. I went back to the greenhouse with my deluxe speedgrow, and I'm going to put this on everything. It's just going to dramatically speed up the starfruit because I wanted to convert that into starfruit wine to get more money. The more money I get, the more I can do. I'm going to give Clint my axe upgrade to a gold axe because I'm cutting down an awful amount of trees. I need wood for so many things. It won't hurt to have a good axe to do that. I'm now on the quest to get all of the artifacts needed for Professor Snail's side quest. I also fished up a blue discus there as well. That's one of the fish needed for the fishing collection. I managed to get the fossilized spine too, which is needed for Professor Snail's quest. Look at this. I managed to get a snake vertebrae from just mining open stone. I actually couldn't believe it when it popped out. Snake vertebrae are now super easy to get. They used to be insanely hard to get back in the day. Back in the 1.5 days, you had to hold up out of the ground and it was just so rare. It's now super easy to get. I also got another golden walnut down there with a pearl, and I also managed to fish up the lionfish too, which is needed for the fishing collection, along with the snake skull for Professor Snail's side quest. So I had enough golden walnuts assembled where I could fish up the beach area here, and now loads of NPCs will come over from Stardew Valley and visit, including Gus. We need Gus to come here to get a recipe off him. I got access to a new area where I fished up a golden walnut. You can hoe up another one just outside there, and there's a sneaky one inside the Pirate's Cove here, just down at the bottom right. Also inside the Pirate's Cove there's a fish we need. It's known as the stingray. We need that for the fishing collection. I also got the mummified frog from whacking open the weeds, and I also started the gembird puzzle as well. We put an aquamarine there because that came off the south gembird, so that aquamarine goes into the south pedestal. The gold pickaxe off Clint. I also got to break open some golden coconuts because I needed the fossilized skull for Professor Snail's side quest, and I got that no problem at all. It was then back to Ginger Island, and I managed to pan up the fossilized tail, and that was the last item needed to complete Professor Snail's archaeology side quest, and I completed it in record time because of how easy it is now to get those snake vertebrae. I got lots of golden walnuts as a reward, along with a banana and a mango sapling. I will need a banana for a special quest later on to give to the gorilla to get more golden walnuts. You can also get up to 5 golden walnuts from doing farming on Ginger Island, and here's one for you. Concerned Ape has now put in a change where if you site away crops, you can also get golden walnuts that way as well. You don't have to just put up crops out of the ground anymore. So it was back to some volcano rungs to get more golden walnuts. I picked up a soul sapper ring there. In all fairness, it's a horrible ring, because by the time you get to Ginger Island, energy just isn't a problem anymore, so I think it's probably one of the most useless rings in the game. I did, however, put 3 rubies into my Galaxy Sword, increasing its damage output. It's now way stronger. We are now approximately halfway through the video, so if you're still watching, consider liking and subscribing to the channel if you like 100-day content. We're now moving into fall. Let's take a look at the calendar. As we can see, we still have the Spirit Eves event, we have the Stardew Valley Fair, but the bookseller will now visit on the 4th and the 12th. And I didn't see any other sort of new events added to fall, except for the bookseller. So I'm going to use all of my money here and purchase 134 pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins, in all fairness, do sell for quite a lot of money. They don't compare to starfruit, but they're still alright. And we spend a good portion of today watering up these pumpkins and planting them. We're also going to visit the raccoon. He says, now maybe I find a wife. Well, I wish you the best of luck there, buddy. You can do it. I went down to the sewers, totally forgot about the mutant carp, so I fished that up straight away. I didn't stop there though. I went inside the mutant bug lair and I fished up the slimejack. I got a first catch on that, which was nice. I also picked up the dark talisman because I wanted to see if the magical ink terminal had some extra items. I also put up the angler as well, which is the fall legendary fish. A new baby lizard has hatched thanks to the dinosaur egg I put into the incubator. We're now going to give it a name. We're going to call it Bonkers Busy, our new fabulous dinosaur. I'm also going to get some Gold Star mayonnaise because the chickens now produce high quality eggs and the Gold Star mayonnaise will sell for quite some money. I smoked the angler and the mutant carp. It was a nice bit of money coming in there now to start the fall. I was really happy with that. 6,300 for the mutant carp and almost 4,800 for the angler. I got the ossified blade here from a mystery box, and that blade wasn't actually introduced in 1.5. It was one of those mythical weapons, you know. You could spawn it in with the item spawner, but you couldn't officially get it. Now we can. It's not a bad weapon. It's a level 6 sword. It would be very overpowered if you got that in early spring, you know, to have such a beast of a weapon in the early days. But I had a Galaxy Sword, so I was just going to sell it off to Marlon. It did look really cool though, the ossified blade. It was now time to get the frog to inspect some crops to get more golden walnuts. He'll give us 5 for the melon and he'll give us 5 for the wheat. I didn't have any garlic on me and I haven't got any garlic yet from any of the monsters in the Skull Caverns, so we will have to wait to get the final 5 from him down the road. So I gave Penny a sandfish for her birthday and she was delighted with that. We might consider marrying Penny this time around. It was also time for the community quests. Normally I would jump at community cleanup because I could use it to abuse tea saplings. Because they were nerfed, I'm going with fragments of the past. Because the tea saplings now only sell for 250 gold. They don't sell for 500 gold anymore. I also purchased the big chest recipe off Robin. I'm going to make that now. It's so handy. You can place the big chest directly on your small chest and it will absorb all of the loot in the small chest, so you don't have to take all of the items out of the small chest and then put it into the big chest. It was so handy. Unfortunately, the big chest knocked my small chest away and I couldn't pick it up, and my OCD was just killing me. I do eventually pick it up in the future. One way or another, we will get that small chest. Don't you worry, folks. We'll get it. So the broccoli has fully grown. It's time to harvest it to see what it's all about. The broccoli is quite similar to the carrot and the summer squash in terms of value and how much energy and health it's going to give. It's just something you can hope out of the ground in fall, similar to spring and summer. I made some preserve jars today. I've also made some rustic floors and some stone floors because I wanted to do up the farm a little bit. I wanted to put down some sort of a path in the farm just to make it look like a decent looking farm. Aesthetic is important. It was time to experiment with the broccoli. I'm going to put it inside the preserve jars. I'm also going to put it inside the kegs just to see what the value of it is like when it's processed. You know, if it's any good, if it's worth capitalizing on, if it's worth exploiting. So we're back to Ginger Island and I figured out the gem puzzle here. I had 2 gem birds to go, but I just started putting in random gems and I got the combination correct and I got back 5 golden walnuts there, no problem at all. I also put up an ostrich egg here in the golden walnut, and because I have the ostrich incubator from doing Professor Snail's quest, I could now put ostriches on my farm if I so wished. I went down into the regular mines today just to farm some iron ores because I wanted to make more bombs. I wanted to do another Skull Cavern run. Killing the skeletons isn't bad either because we do have to complete all the monster eradication goals. The book collector has come back. I had 29,000 gold, so I wanted to purchase something now that would really help me along with progression. Way of the Wind Part 2 was 35,000 gold, and it would give me an even greater movement speed forever. I really wanted that. I just needed a few extra 1,000 gold, so I sold Pierre 999 coffee beans. Like, to be honest with you, I'm not going to use all those. I'm not going to process those into coffee because I can just convert diamonds into triple shot espressos if I want to. So I sold him all the coffee beans. I had 44,000 gold, and I purchased a book of power to further increase my movement speed. Nice one. That was Way of the Wind Part 1 and Way of the Wind Part 2 collected. I gave the henchman here some void mayonnaise, so he would let me into the shack. I just wanted to pick up the magical ink and use it to activate the terminal. I wanted to see if the 1.6 added any new structures to the game. I also noticed a new structure here in the wizard's basement. It says a replica of unknown origins, and I'm wondering now if that has some sort of a function. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments if that has some sort of a function. Looking at the magical ink terminal here, it has the same old usual stuff. It has the obelisks, the gold clock, and the Junimos. The raccoon finally found himself a wife. Congratulations, raccoon. And the wife vendor sells carrot seeds, summer squash seeds, broccoli seeds, and powder melon seeds. What's interesting here is these powder melon seeds can be used in winter, so we can now farm properly in winter. We can use powder melon seeds, and all we need for the powder melon seeds are just 2 pine cones. For one, it's easy to get pine cones. We had a chat with the raccoon. He needed more food. He wanted dried coconuts and blackberry jelly. The coconuts and jelly would be simple. Blackberries are littered all over the ground in fall, and the coconuts, we can just head on off to the desert to get those. I also made some crystallariums, and I purchased some powder melon seeds off of the fabulous raccoon's wife. 32 in total. I'm going to put those down in the greenhouse straight away. For the rest of the day, I was just cutting down trees, getting wood. I was also wanted to get more pine cones because I wanted to get more powder melon seeds. I was getting moss as well, which will come in handy later on. The next day I got my dried coconuts, and I just had to wait now for the blackberry jelly. That could take some time to process. I got my octopus roe. I was also collecting my lovely deluxe bait. I decided to make loads of bombs because I'm gearing up now for another Skull Cavern run. I went back down to the Ginger Island, and I'm trying to get bone fragments here. The reason why I'm getting bone fragments is because I took on a community quest to collect 100 bone fragments for Gunther. So we're just going between the skeletons and the Ginger Island. It was Elliot's birthday. I gave him a lobster because he loves those. That was nice friendship points with Elliot. I purchased the triple shot espresso recipe off Gus as well, so I could convert my hard-earned coffees into triple shot espressos. I'm also giving Robin love gifts. I need to get her the 6 hearts to learn the flute block, so I can get more golden walnuts over on Ginger Island. My sweet gem berry was finally ready. It can be grown in a garden pot, which is nice. That means you can grow it any season of the year indoors. And all of the starfruit was good to go as well. That would all be turned into starfruit wine. I went to the secret woods with my sweet gem berry, and the statue here, he gave me another star drop, which was nice. I'm going to put loads of powder melon seeds now inside the greenhouse to see what they look like and how well they sell for. I gave Gunther his 100 bone fragments. I'm going to get rewarded now at 3,500 gold for that. He'll also send me on the bone mill as well the next day. And I also get a prize ticket. What other goodies can we get from Mayor Lewis's prize machine? I'm going to get a bed today, but the next prize is really good. It's 4 mushroom logs. I was really curious as to what that book was with the love heart on it. I knew it was a book of power, but I didn't know at the time what it actually done. So I picked up another help wanted quest because there was a prize ticket in the mix. I just had to get 15 coal ores, and it was super simple to do. Because I had the quarry unlocked, it would take me record time to get those 15 coal pieces. I also picked up a book here as well called Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick, and it's a permanent +1 to my defense, which was really nice. Defense is so important in Stardew Valley. The more defense you have, the less damage enemies do. I picked up a trash catalogue here from one of the trash cans, and this will give me access to a huge array of trash decorations we can place in our house and all around the farm. We have the plastic lawn chair, broken television, buried tire, all different kinds of cans and bottles, messy shorts, 6-pack rings, spilled beverages. It was just really cool, you know. We also had really dirty wallpaper recipes as well. I couldn't help myself, and I turned my house into an absolute wreck. This is what a house would look like if Shane and Pam lived together. The main thing was that my dog was still happy, goodbye Chuck, and my cactus was still smiling, so I took those as positives. The next day I swapped the tellies around because I needed a working telly. The broken telly didn't actually work, which speaks for itself. So Gunther sent me on the bone mill the next day. That's handy, we can put bone fragments and other stuff into that to get back speed grows and fertilizers and stuff like that. I also harvested my blackberry jelly, so I can give that now into the raccoon, along with the dried coconuts, and that was another raccoon quest completed. Thanks, Bobo. Take this. I got a raccoon journal. This is a book of power, and it just means that when we destroy weeds, we have a greater chance of getting mixed seeds from those weeds. So it's a really nice perk there to have that permanently. What a nice book of power to get. What more prizes would we get from this lovely raccoon? We can also purchase more of that book of power if we want for 999 fiber. Now obviously we can't reactivate it or increase our chances. It's just for trading with the book merchant when he visits. So it was time now to upgrade our house, make it a little bit bigger for 10,000 gold and some wood. I also purchased some staircases here as well using jades. And I also managed to pull up a sea cucumber as well because I needed that for the fishing collection. I also got the midnight carp too. I came across the weirdest quest the next day. Emily wanted me to say hi to every single person in town, just so everybody would like me a little more. I mean, I've never seen this quest before. It must be a new addition to 1.6. But it was time for another community quest. We had Pierre's Prime Produce, Rock Rejuvenation. Because I was already growing the pumpkins, it made sense to just take Pierre's Prime Produce because I was going to get a lot of Ghost Star vegetables, and you do get some nice money for doing those quests as well. I also pulled up some more catfish today because it was raining, but what I was really looking for was the tiger trout, just for the fishing collection. We didn't stop there though. It was then after the lake area I needed to pull up the walleye here for the fishing collection, and I managed to get that without too much hassle at all. The next day things got a little bit exciting. It was a help wanted quest from Willie. He wanted 4 salmon, but there was a prized ticket in the mix, so I was going to do that straight away and pull up those 4 salmon as quickly as possible. I really wanted to get my hands on that book with the love heart to see what it was all about. Willie was super happy with the salmon. I got 300 gold for doing it, but I didn't care too much about that. I just wanted a ticket. So I was back to Ginger Island and I was pulling up taro roots here. I was getting some golden walnuts in the process, which was nice. I was actually getting very close now to entering Key's secret walnut room, but I still needed a few more golden walnuts. So I traded in some bone fragments for some more taro tubers. I'm going to plant all those down. I also planted a lot of mixed seeds as well. Went back to the dwarf on the 5th floor there and I finally purchased the Diamond Hunter skill book. So I now have a chance to get diamonds every time I mine open a node. I used my watering can to get up to that protection ring. Then I realised I didn't need to use the watering can. I could have just walked around the lava. Finally got access to Key's secret walnut room. Let the key quests commence. We had Key's crop and 4 precious stones. There was not a hope I was doing the Key's crop quest. Way too time consuming, way too boring. I selected the 4 precious stones. I can just go into the Skull Cavern and get those no problem. I had a look to see if the 1.6 introduced any new items to this key machine, and it did. We had fireworks. We also had blue grass starter. That's the really nice grass, that gives animals friendship bonuses. But we needed moss and mystic syrup to craft it, and I had no idea how to get mystic syrup at this moment in time. I also got Woody's secret from cutting down a tree. Felled trees have a 5% chance now to give double the wood. That's pretty nice, and that was a new book of power added to our lovely repertoire. I made more staircases today. We're gearing up for another Skull Cavern run to see if we can get those prismatic shards. I also made some triple shot espressos with all the coffees I had accumulated as well. So I checked the fortune teller today and I actually had the best luck possible, which was really nice. So I activated my warp totem straight away and we're going to go into the Skull Cavern now for a really good run of it. I spammed staircases more or less until I ran out of them, and eventually I got to a treasure floor here where I got a dark cowboy hat, so I'm going to equip that straight away just for a change of style. There's loads of different cowboy hats you can get in the game, but you cannot get the pink one or the prismatic one from the treasure chest. You get those from alternative means. I got to floor 100, I got a special chest, but the reward wasn't so special. It was just another dark cowboy hat, unfortunately. The chest was cool though. I got my first prismatic shard on floor 101. What's interesting is that when you get to floor 200, you'll get rewarded with 2 chests, and floor 300, you'll get rewarded with 3 treasure chests. So it's definitely worth making staircases and getting down as deep as possible to maximize on the rewards. I got loads of prismatic shards today, but more importantly, I got absolute tons of iridium ores, and all those ores can be turned into bars. They will sell for 1500 gold a pop, which is just amazing. All of the lovely powder melons now have fully matured, so we're going to harvest those all up. We're going to sell them now to make a pretty good profit. I made more furnaces today because I wanted to output a lot more bars to make bigger profits. I sold all of the powder melons and the broccoli. I even sold starfruit and everything else to our good friend Pierre to get some flash money. I purchased some cave jelly by trading a book there to the bookseller. That jelly will come in handy later on when it comes to making more of those smoke machines. I purchased the horse skill book. I also purchased the Slither-like skill book as well, because I wanted to run faster through crops and grass and things like that. I had a look at the Queen of Sauce cookbook, but I couldn't afford it right now. I will grab it later on. So I used up a lot of money on the books of power and also the skill books as well to get some more really cool passive abilities. I now had a fairly good repertoire of books of power. I also made 3 more fish smokers. So bring on the fish. That means I can smoke a lot more fish a lot faster, meaning a more or less double fishing profits for me. I'm going to get Robin to make a deluxe barn, and I'm going to go back to Ginger Island, put in the 4 prismatic shards, that's 40 key gems in the bag. I'm going to purchase the key to the town. Not only will I be able to enter anywhere I want regardless of the time, but the vendors will also be accessible at earlier and later times as well. Clint will upgrade our axe to the final form, the iridium axe, and we're going to go back into our greenhouse now, collect all this lovely starfruit wine, and we're turning more iridium ores into iridium bars for even more money. Because I had so much iridium got, the money was just flowing. I managed to put a tapper onto that new rare tree there. It was some sort of a fiddlehead fern tree. Let's find out what that tapper will produce. I couldn't use the tapper on any of the other trees. They'll be on moss trees. It was time to purchase more animals. I'm going to get a duck right now. Let the naming conventions begin. This one, we're going to call it Natasha. For next, we have Ashley. That's going to be a duck as well. Another duck. It's going to be Taylor, another member of our channel. It was Abigail's birthday today. We're going to give her a pufferfish. Lots of friendship points there. I then decided to purchase the mannequin male and female of Sandy. I wanted to see how they worked. I wanted to put lots of clothes on them to see what it looked like. I also purchased 184 starfruit of Sandy as well. So we're going to put the majority of these in the greenhouse. Any ones left over will go over to Ginger Island. And this is what the mannequins look like. I think it's a really cool aesthetic. There's lots you can do with those mannequins in terms of style-wise, you know, to make your farm look a bit more unique. I finally got the warp obelisk unlocked over in Ginger Island. I also gave me a Ginger Island warp totem for free as well. That was a nice added feature. It was time to finish off Pierre's prime produce quest. 2500 gold in the bag. And it was time to replant our second batch of pumpkins. I then collected a dinosaur mayonnaise for the first time, and I got my iridium axe back off Clint. That was another tool fully upgraded. Now we're going to work on our pan. We're going to upgrade the copper pan to a steel pan. I wanted to see how potent these new pan upgrades can be, all the way to the iridium pan, to see how good it gets. I'm going to get my prize ticket now for doing Pierre's questline. And I'm also going to make 2 iridium bands, because I had a lot of solar essences and void essences collected from killing the monsters over the past few seasons. I'm also purchasing 2 ruby rings, and I'm going to combine my iridium bands with my ruby rings for a huge attack power buff. The next day, I had a look at the tapper and it generated a fiddlehead fern, which figures the fiddlehead fern tree would of course generate fiddlehead ferns. It is nice though to get an actual flowing stock of fiddlehead ferns through tappers. So it's a nice adjustment. It was time to purchase more animals. We're going to go to Vice City. Pink Blossom, another cool Gamergar member. Marastic. I was going to purchase a pig, but Marnie just got up and left the store without saying a word. That's what I hate about Marnie. Sometimes it can be just infuriatingly hard to purchase stuff off her because she's never around. I went to Robin. I'm going to upgrade my big coop to a deluxe coop, and it was time to choose another community quest. We had Island Ingredients, and we had Robin's Project. I'm going to go with Robin's Project because it's quite easy to get hardwood now, and I just didn't have an optimal setup now to ship 100 pineapples within 14 days, so it made sense to get Robin's Project and just farm some hardwood. I'm also going to go with Key's Prismatic Grange here too, because I wasn't going to go with Key's Crop, and it would be easy enough to do that quest, especially now that we can purchase Georgia Colas for the blue item. Got another Soul Sapper ring today, and out of the elite chest, another useless Soul Sapper ring. I was just getting horrendous luck with the chests. I combined my Iridium Band with the Ruby ring twofold. That is a 40% attack bonus now, so we're going to do way more damage now to enemies. What's better, I got level 10 combat that night ago with Brute. That's 15% additional damage on top of that. That's a 55% damage increase. It was then onto the Stardew Valley Fair. I had quite the nice selection of items there. Definitely going to get first place for that. As a reward, I get the usual 1000 star tokens. With that, I just keep gambling on green until I get enough star tokens to purchase all of the rewards. There was, however, an additional reward to be had. It was a prize token. I absolutely purchased that. After the prize token, I went ahead and got the star drop. I also got the rare crow because that's needed for the deluxe scarecrow at the end. I went back to Clint the next day. I got back my steel pan. I handed it straight back in again and got him to upgrade it to a gold pan. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Iridium pan can do. In terms of the Key's Prismatic Grange quest, for the blue items, I just went with 100 Georgia Colas. I had Cherry Bombs, Bug Meat, Fibre, Copper Ores and Sap for the other stuff, so it was easy enough to complete with those items. With the currency I had, I purchased Pierre's missing stock list in the hopes I could access his year 2 crops. I was wrong though. He still just gives you the year 1 crops, but he does allow you to purchase any crop regardless of season, but it has to be a year 1 crop. I gave Pierre his stock list. Happy days. Was off to Robin to give her the 80 hardwood needed to complete her project quest. That was 2000 gold in the bag there from Robin. The next day I was collecting pumpkin juice and harvesting more pumpkins. I gave Marnie a pearl here because it was her birthday. Got her shut up with 3 hearts. Collected Mayor Lewis's lucky purple shorts. Had a chat with Marnie. She was like, what, hey? I don't know what that is. Gave them to Mayor Lewis. You found them where? Oh, I have no idea how they could have gotten there. You're such a poor liar, Mayor Lewis. Why can't you just be honest? Let everyone know about your love. You shouldn't hide love, Lewis. I did collect another prize ticket and I managed to finally get that Book of Power. Friendship 101. This passive will basically give us extra friendship points whenever we do any sort of activity that generates friendship points, such as giving gifts, completing quests. It's real handy in the long run. I put the mushroom logs down near wild trees so they would generate mushrooms every couple of days, and it's a really nice item to have. I also picked up Linus's berry basket just to get some more friendship points with him. I also put a battery pack into the lockbox here to start Key's quest to get into the casino. You don't actually need the secret note to start that quest. You can start it whenever you wish. Give Linus back his berry basket along with a hazelnut for some extra friendship points with him. Back on Ginger Island, got a few more golden walnuts from harvesting up some crops here, which was nice. And I managed to get some other golden walnuts from opening up the mussels here as well. You can get a total of 5 from when I open the mussels. I also got Robin to build the stables. I wanted to see if any changes were implemented with the 1.6 in terms of how the horse looked. I purchased 2 heaters off Marnie as well, just to make sure the animals are kept nice and warm for winter. I also purchased a pig. We're going to call the pig DJ Guardian. I also purchased a rabbit here. We're going to call it Manya. Our lovely raccoon friend was looking for some dried common mushrooms and 5 cave carrots. We would of course oblige, being the super nice neighbour that we are. For the 5 common mushrooms it was simple enough. I just got them from the mushroom cave. I also built an ostrich incubator. I'm going to put this inside the barn now because it's now a deluxe barn. And I'm going to put the ostrich egg straight in there just so we have the ostrich as well on the farm. And that will cover more or less all of the farm animals that you have in Stardew Valley. The next day I got the dried common mushrooms along with loads of iridium bars. I already had the cave carrots, so it was time to sort out our lovely hungry raccoon friend. Let's see what rewards we're going to get this time for completing another raccoon bundle. Thanks Bobo, take this. And I got a raccoon hat. Real nice indeed. I of course put the raccoon hat on me straight away because I think it's the coolest thing ever. These raccoons are just so nice. And what's more, we can purchase more raccoon hats from the wife, because every time we complete a raccoon community quest, the wife gets an expanded shop. It was just 10 mixed seeds to get more raccoon hats if we ever want them in the future. Now the raccoon says we can grow the family bigger. Well, I wish you the best of luck in that endeavour, my friend. It was back to Clint to get the gold pan, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to give that straight back into Clint to get the iridium pan. That'll be ready in a couple of days. I also went back to the witch's swamp and I pulled up the void salmon. I needed that for the fishing collection. I also went to the Pirate's Cove and I managed to play the darts game. Every time we complete the darts game, we get a golden walnut, up to a maximum of 3. If we want to achieve perfection in Stardew Valley, we will have to acquire all of the golden walnuts. Once the dart game was finished with, we were more or less finished with the Pirate's Cove. It was time to leave, go back to the farm and name our horse Katie. We're going to now stroll around the valley with our good friend Katie. We're now going to go back to Robin, give her the midnight carp. She posted that on the bulletin board, and the reason why we took that quest was because we wanted to build up friendship points with Robin. I also gave her spaghetti as well because it was her birthday, and she finally gave me the recipe for the flute block. I'm also going to get Robin to build a shed so I can fill it up with kegs, and I'm also going to put a rainbow shell inside of the box here for Mr. Key. The next quest was to place 10 beets inside Mayor Lewis's fridge, and I've got those beets grown over on Ginger Island. I picked up the prismatic jelly community quest, and I managed to get my iridium pan back off Clint as well. We can now use that iridium pan to see if we can get some real nice stuff. Next up, we're going to upgrade the watering can to its maximum potential. We can also put the iridium pan on our head and use it as a hat. It's just so funny because it's purple. We finally completed the flute block puzzle. Because it was raining over on Ginger Island, we could do that, and the mermaid would give us 10 more golden walnuts. I managed to pan up a fossilized tail with 11 iridium ore, but it gets way better. It's time to pan with Gamer Gar, everybody. Let me show you how it's done. After a while, I finally came across a fishing spot that gave me not just a lucky ring, but a ton of other stuff too. You just cannot beat the iridium pan. It's absolutely amazing. Every time you pan up something with the iridium pan, there's a very good chance that another panning spot will appear straight away, so you can get a really good chain going with the pan. I will of course equip the lucky ring. +1 luck is a really good perk to be walking around with. Luck determines so many things in Stardew Valley. It was time for another key quest here. We're going to go with Skull Cavern Invasion. We just have to make our way down to floor 100, and that'll get 40 key gems as well, which will be really nice. So we're just going to spam staircases till we get as close to floor 100 as we can, and then we just utilise our bombs to make the rest of the way there. Upon spamming down staircases, I did come across a treasure floor with 2 iridium sprinklers. That was actually very nice, because I am in the realms now of upgrading my sprinklers to iridium sprinklers so I can put more crops on the ground. If I come across radioactive ores, I will prioritise those. And when I got to floor 100, then I got the really cool treasure chest again. Inside, I got 5 survival burgers, plus 3 foraging is actually pretty nice. It's a nice burger to have. I was also getting lots of prismatic shards from my journeys down here too, which was good. I also got swarmed by tons of iridium bats. I somehow managed to fend them all off. I did get 22 iridium ores from it though. I got another prismatic shard from a treasure room, which was nice as well. The next day, it was time to smelt all of these lovely radioactive ores into radioactive bars. The greenhouse was also ready. And I got another fern tree here. I'm going to put a tapper on it. It's cool that the 2 trees turn different ways. You could almost, just almost, turn into some sort of a cool looking gate to your farm. I got the copper watering can off Clint. I'm going to give that straight back into him to upgrade it to steel watering can. I'm also going to cut down loads of trees here. When I was cutting down trees in Cindersap Forest, I noticed a door. I got very excited by this because I've never noticed this before, and this absolutely wasn't in 1.5. This was new. It says only a master of the 5 ways may enter. 4 out of 5. I knew straight away it was talking about my core skills. My farming, mining, foraging, fishing and combat. My foraging was skill level 9, so I had to get that 1 more level before I could enter that room. I did not know at the time what was inside there, but I was absolutely determined to get into that room as quickly as possible. So I was basically going to prioritise foraging now for the next few days, just cutting down any sort of tree or stump I came across. If I saw any sort of forage around the ground, I would of course pick it up straight away because it all counts towards foraging XP. The radioactive bars yield 4,500 gold a pop. That's absolutely insane. I also got really lucky here in the mines, and getting down to floor 7 for the first time I got the prismatic slime. Killed that, got the prismatic jelly, so we can give that back to the wizard now for some really good money. But the main reason we do this quest is to get the recipe the wizard will send us the next day, the monster musk. That makes monster eradication goals much easier to achieve because it will dramatically increase the rate of which monsters spawn in the mines. So I'm getting loads of mushrooms here from the mushroom logs. Each mushroom log can give like up to 4 mushrooms. It's really good. I got purple mushrooms, common mushrooms, red mushrooms. I do plan on putting a lot more mushroom logs out on the farm. Because it was Thursday, I swapped in 3 prismatic shards for the magic rock candy. That'll come in real handy later on. And I spent a great deal of time then cutting down more trees today to try to increase my foraging skill. I went over to Ginger Island and all the beets were ready to be harvested. I'm going to pick them all up. And I cut down even more trees on Ginger Island to increase my foraging skill. I also unlocked the fast travel around Ginger Island by just unlocking the parrot lift. That was more or less all of the Ginger Island upgrades done. The next day, the wizard set me on the recipe for monster musk, and this means dungeon crawling now becomes much more interesting. I got another fiddlehead fern today off this tapped tree, so I suppose it's just fiddlehead ferns and moss for the moment. I haven't come across any new trees yet. I'm going to get my prize ticket as well for completing the last community center quest for the wizard, and I'm also going to put some beets inside Merluce's fridge. Now I get another task from Mr. Key to give the sand dragon his last meal. It was time to trade in our prize ticket, and this time we're going to get back a dehydrator. So it's going to be nice having 2 of those instead of 1 because it takes so long to actually dry out fruit in this game. So I put a solar essence into the dragon skeleton, and I had to move my chest here to get the club card, and I actually moved my chest down in between my furnaces. I thought it was so funny. I actually have some job putting that chest back up into its original place. We're going to go back to Clint again, and we're going to get him to upgrade the watering can yet again to a gold watering can. And I spent the rest of the day pulling up some gobies here because I wanted to put these into a new fishing pond to see what kind of items they would generate. It was also time to pull up all of the pumpkins. Our banana tree was finally ready. We got our first mango and our first banana. We can bring the banana back to Ginger Island. Robin will make another fishing pond for us, and I'm also going to purchase the jack-o'-lantern recipe and another rare crow from the Halloween event here as well. We're also going to do the maze and get a golden pumpkin, which will become very handy for the next upcoming birthday for extra friendship points. I found a little secret here behind the Joja Mart. It's a prize ticket, but I needed a copper axe to clear away the tree stump there to get it. And I also found another box just in the room here at the back of the Adventurers Guild with the Mapping Cave Systems Book of Power. And all that Book of Power does is it reduces the cost needed to pay Marilyn to go back in and collect your goods if you ever pass out in the Skull Caverns or regular mines. Gets you a 50% discount for Marilyn's services. So the gorilla is after eating the banana here now, and he will reward me with 3 golden walnuts for that deed. Nice one. There's also a lot more starfruit we can harvest here over on Ginger Island. All this will be converted into starfruit wine for lots and lots of money. We're getting the gold watering can back off Clint, and we're going to give that back into him now for the final upgrade. You'll also notice it's 6 o'clock when I'm handing that back in. That's because I have the key to the town, so I can just go in there anytime I want and primarily get upgrades. So to get the next Book of Power, you need at least a steel axe to clear away that big log. And you also need a steel pickaxe to clear away the big piece of rock. And then there's a gold trash can here that you can open up. And inside, we get a new Book of Power called the Alleyway of Buffett. And this Book of Power increases the odds of finding items out of trash cans, which is really cool. So it might make for a decent trash can run later on. I wonder with that Book of Power, how much loot you can get from trash cans in one whole year of the game. So we're now in winter, and it's time to click on this bush and get the magnifying glass off Krobus. That will allow us to pick up secret letters all over Stardew Valley, and some will lead to very powerful rewards indeed. We're also going to pick up a new community quest. We're going to get Juicy Bugs Wanted from Willy here. He just wants 100 pieces. That won't be a problem at all. It's also Krobus' birthday today, and I've been saving this gold star horseradish for him for quite some time. That's going to put him up to 3 stars. I'm also going to purchase the dehydrator recipe off Pierre, so I can make more of those if I want. It was nice seeing all of the NPCs in their new winter clothing. Gus looked really comfy. Pierre, honestly, he looked the part as well with his new green sweater. I also spoke to Marnie. She looked really good. You can tell by looking at the outfits how much love Concerned Ape has for this game. All of the outfits looked amazing. I put the gobies into the fishing pond here in the hopes they'll generate some really cool stuff for me. I was getting quite unlucky with the key quest. It was another choice between Keys Crap, which I'm not going to pick, and another Skull Cavern Invasion. I was getting kind of bored of doing the Skull Caverns over and over again, but it was the best way to get the key gems. I needed more key gems to get more of the good stuff. So I'm going to purchase more powder melon seeds today. I got 46 in total there off the raccoon's wife, and they will be planted on our regular farm, so it's going to be nice to grow stuff in winter. I had a quick chat with our raccoon friend and he said, thirsty, need juice. So what he was looking for here was a cave carrot juice and a pickled winter root. And that would be very simple to get because you can get both items very commonly around Stardew Valley. Because it's winter, the winter root will be even easier to get. So I'm going to put all of the powder metals down, and a new ostrich finally hatched. Let's give it a name, or we're going to call it Doodle. Doodle isn't a member of our channel, but she's a great friend of mine and a very good YouTube content creator. It's now time to look at all of the farming animals we've collected so far, and we have one of each. It was then time to pull up some winter fish. We just got the squid there, which is really nice. Now I'm going to turn that squid into bait, and that bait will come super handy for the big event this season. We also get back an iridium watering can, and we're now going to get Clint to start upgrading the hose. I'm also cutting down more trees in the hopes to get my foraging skill to 10, because I still haven't got to 10. And now that all the trees are gone, all that's left for us to do is to slay some enemies, get some bug meat, and complete some more quests. It was then off to try to fish up the hardest fish in the game, in my opinion, the glacier fish. It took me 3 attempts to actually pull this thing from up out of the waters. It was just so hard. It's such a ferociously hard fish. Way, way harder than the legend, in my opinion. And it's only worth 2200 gold, which is unfortunate. I think all the legendary fish should be worth way more than that, you know, minimum 5-6k gold at least. I finally got my foraging to level 10, and a new gauge appeared called Mastery, 1 out of 10,000. Just so you know, Mastery is a combination of all of our skills. Linus looked really good with his new winter getup, and I decided to give him a birthday present as well as give him a cactus there. Good for you, Linus, my friend. I also fished up a link cod, we need that for the fishing collection as well, and a few other bits and bobs too. So all what was left now for the fishing collection was the 3 fish you get from doing the submarine minigame in winter. So we'll get to that soon, and that will be another star drop then from Willy. So level 10 foraging, we're going to get the lumberjack. All trees have a chance to drop hardwood. When I woke up the next way, I got a pop-up saying, I sense a way has opened up somewhere. I knew it had to be the door. I got my copper hoe off Clint and I went towards the door to open it up. Inside was a room with 5 statues, each having some sort of profession on it. Basically, for every mastery level we get, we can unlock one of those professions and get really good perks from them and very potent tools. So I had to make a decision on what mastery I was going to get first. We will eventually end up with all of the masteries, eventually, but for now I had to choose. Grandpa left a really cool note there as well to say that if I got this far I was ready. To complete the mastery gauge we just have to use all of our regular professions. They all count towards the mastery gauge. Combat mastery, the anvil, allows us to reforge trinkets, randomizing their stats, cost 3 iridium bars each. The mini forge, we can now use a dwarvish forge from the convenience of our home. That was so cool, and the ability to use trinkets. The mystic tree seed sounded awesome, you know, the treasure totem sounded good too, and we can also find golden mystery boxes if we went with the foraging mastery instead of regular mystery boxes. The next up then for the farmer, we had the iridium site. It can now gather crops, statue of blessings, and now we had golden animal crackers, which permanently double a farm animal's produce. For fishing mastery, we had an advanced iridium rod. We can have up to 2 bobbers on that rod. We had challenge bait. A perfect yields triple the catch. However, every time a fish escapes, we lose one. And then we can encounter golden fishing chests. What will we get inside those? And then for the mining, we have statue of the dwarf king, which is mining related perks. A heavy furnace, more efficient regular furnace. 25 pieces of ore and 3 coal per use. And gem bearing rocks now grant twice the gems. They all sounded totally awesome, and it took me ages to kind of decide on which one I was going to select for this challenge. Eventually I just went with the combat mastery, which sounded the most useful because I was really interested in finding out how those trinkets work. So it was back to Clint to break open some more geodes, and it was on to Gunther, and I was trying to finish off all of the artifacts here and the minerals. I then decided to get Clint to upgrade my hoe again. We're going to go for the steel hoe all the way up to the iridium, of course. It was then back down killing bugs. The The reason why we're killing bugs is because I still needed 100 bug meat in total to complete Willy's community quest. So once I had that done, it was time to get some really good rewards off Willy, along with 3000 gold. Wasn't too bad at all. It was time to go back to the lovely book merchant. This time at almost 500,000 gold to pay around with. I purchased the Queen of Sauce cookbook for 50,000. This thing is absolutely amazing. It's not a book of power. Instead, once we activate it, we will learn all of the Queen of Sauce recipes. Now bear in mind, that is just the Queen of Sauce recipes. We do not learn the recipes that we get from the NPCs, from the villagers of Stardew Valley. We still have to butter them up to learn all their secrets. But it's nice to get all the Queen of Sauce out of the way so we don't have to watch the telly every Sunday or every Wednesday. I'm also going to get some skill books here just to see how effective they are. I have 599 XP at the moment. I activated a mining skill book and it went up to 849. Not really worth it in my opinion. I suppose the best way to fill this mastery gauge is to blow up iridium ores or radioactive ores, or just farm tons and tons of crops. The mushroom logs were giving me some great stuff here. Purple mushrooms, red mushrooms, and of course I could dry all those out. I'm working on Penny now because I want her to marry me, so I'm giving her sandfish because she loves sandfish. I'm also working on Vincent and Jazz because I want to learn the Spring Onion Mastery, just so I can add it to my cool UI. It'd be nice to see it all filled up, looking pretty. So it was time to hand over the resources the raccoon needed to progress his questline. Thanks Bobo, take this. I got 5 fairy dust. That's absolutely amazing, and it's going to come in so handy to speed up production and items in the future. You're a good friend Bobo, now we can have more kids. I got dried purple mushrooms today, 2,660 gold. And that is actually a huge profit. Even if you were to sell 5 iridium mushrooms, you would still get more from the dried mushrooms, just so you know. The dehydrator is a game changer. It was time to get the steel hoe back off Clint. We're going to hand that straight back in for the gold hoe. Because we have so much iridium ores, we can make iridium bars. It's easy now to get money. We also have batches of starfruit wine being made as well. So eventually we're going to end up with millions of gold. I decided to clear out the entirety of the quarry, and I also came across the bear as well. Gave him some maple syrup, and he gave me the bear's special knowledge. Salmon berries and blackberries are now worth 3 times the gold, which is nice. I also got access to the casino, because I had my casino club card. I played this minigame over and over again, until I had enough casino coins to purchase the alien rare crow. And I won a few times, which was nice. And I had to purchase a few coins as well, but all I wanted was a rare crow, and I was out of there. I could also purchase a statue of Endless Fortune for 1,000,000 gold. I might purchase a few of those when I do a continuation run in a week or two. So I wanted to try out the tent. I haven't actually used it yet. I put it down there just outside of the vendor there, and I woke up the next day in exactly the same spot. That tent's going to be a game changer for future Skull Cavern runs. The only downside is that it'll be hard to see if it's going to be a good luck day or not. So I got an auto petrol floor 65, it was just so lucky, and I got another one when I got down to floor 100. That's one for the coop and one for the barn. I mean, you can't really get luckier than that in all fairness. I then kept making my way down. I wanted to see if I could get floor 200 before the day expired. What you see here now is me fighting an army of mummies, and I'm going to blow them all up at the same time, and it's just going to look so satisfying. That's how you do it, folks. Got a prismatic shot as well from one of them, which was not too bad. Eventually I reached a mastery threshold. It says you've reached a new level of understanding. I can now choose one of the advanced perks from the 5. And I'm probably going to go with the combat, because I really wanted to see how those trinkets worked. It just seemed so interesting. And as we can see, it's now more XP to get the next mastery threshold. It's going to be 15,000 instead of 10,000. So it goes up every time you get a level. When I got to floor 200, I got 2 chests instead of 1, and it was very exciting. Unfortunately, I didn't get great things in either chest, between a red slime egg and wild winter seeds, but the potential is there to get really good things in those 2 chests, and it just adds more incentive to go down and do the Skull Cavern in the future. So I got the last rare crow today. That is the Snowman rare crow, and with that, I'll be able to learn the deluxe rare crow no problem. I also took part in the fishing event. I won it no problem at all, and the prize was the same. The 1.6 didn't change anything here. Not that I saw anyway. It was time to motor on into the next day, and that is the Deluxe Scarecrow recipe. The Deluxe Scarecrow covers twice the range of a regular Scarecrow or Rare Crow, so it is something that you do want to save up on tiles. It was now time to select a profession mastery. We're going to go with combat mastery because I wanted to see how the trinkets worked. And boy, I was not disappointed. To make the anvil to rework the trinkets, I just needed 50 iron bars, which wasn't too bad at all. To make the mini forge, so I wouldn't have to go to Ginger Island Volcano anymore, I needed dragon's tooth, iron, gold and iridium bars. That wasn't too bad either, I just needed a few bits and bobs. I got the gold hoe back off Clint, and I'm just going to hand it back into him one more time, just to get the iridium hoe, just so I can say that I've upgraded all of my core tools. It is nice to have iridium versions of everything though. So Morris here wants 500,000 gold for the cinema. I said why not, I had the money on me and I wasn't really using it for anything else right now, so I just got the cinema there while I had the funds. It was also time to do rock rejuvenation with Emily, and it was time to pick up another quest. We had bad luck again, Keys Crop and Skull Cavern Invasion, so it's going to be another Skull Cavern run. I picked up my first trinket here, a parrot egg. Someone's level 1 parrot companion who grants you a low chance to find gold coins when slaying monsters. Just so you know, this parrot trinket is totally overpowered. I can reforge that and try to get level 2, 3, 4 or level 5 parrot. The higher the level the parrot, the more often you'll get money from killing monsters. And most monsters will drop between 250 and 500 gold regardless of what kind of monsters they are. I mean, it could be a bug in the starter caves, it could be a serpent in the Skull Cavern Invasion cave. I also merged some rings together, the Iridium Band with the Lucky Ring, and I also merged an Iridium Band with the Phoenix Ring, and I enchanted some tools. I wanted to get Master on my fishing rod for the increased fishing level, so it's really nice to get that, it just makes fishing a little bit easier. So I reworked my parrot egg to a level 3 parrot companion, and now I have a high chance to find gold coins when slaying monsters. That can go up to level 5 I believe, and it just gives you an absurdly high chance to get gold when you're killing monsters, and it's extremely profitable. You can make on average over 100,000 gold per day using that parrot trinket and killing monsters. I also picked up the golden spur. Critical strikes give you a speed boost for 8 seconds. You can rework that trinket to modify how long the buff lasts for. I got an 8-second one there, but I also picked up a 6-second one as well and a 7-second one. I brought Vincent to the cinema to get hearts up with him, and I purchased him a Star Drop sorbet because he actually loves that, but he didn't like the movie, so it's going to kind of even itself out. I won't lose or gain friendship points with him. He just wasn't a fan of The Miracle at Coastal Ranch. I thought it was a kick-ass watch. Vincent said he doesn't get it. What don't you get about a tree growing a fruit? Seriously. But hey, that's Vincent. He does love snails after all. So I finally had all of my core tools upgraded, and because it was Thursday, I purchased another magic rock candy off of the desert merchant. I then went to Emily, gave her the amethyst there that she needed. That was rock rejuvenation completed. It was now time for the Squid Fest, and it worked more or less the same way as the Trout Derby. The more squid that you caught, the better prizes you were going to get. Now, I caught as few squid before this, and I turned them into squid bait, so I had an increased chance of catching squid no problem. Once you caught up to 8 squid, you would get the maximum amount of prizes. So when I caught 8, there was no point in any more fishing. And when I clicked on him then, there was a load of prize there to be had, including a new book of power. The book was called The Art of Crabbing. Crab pots have a 25% chance to yield double. That's absolutely amazing. I now had accumulated a lot of books of power, but there was still a good few books left to get. I did the exact same thing the next day. I just fished up squid till I had 8 of them. Then it was time to get more rewards. I got some good stuff. Superstar Expressos, a treasure chest, dish of the sea, mystery box and trap bobber. Not too bad. It was then time to harvest our lovely starfruit wine. I'm going to get so much money for this. It was then back to another Skull Cavern invasion. Picked up another auto petter, which was nice. I now had 2 auto grabbers and 2 auto petters. I picked up a new trinket called the Fairy Box. Someone's a level 3 fairy companion that heals you in combat situations. So the fairy will only heal you when you're in combat. It will not heal you outside of combat. Just to make that clear, because I found out the hard way. That is a level 3 fairy. I believe the fairy goes up to level 5, and the higher the level the fairy, the more it heals you. So I made it down to floor 100, and I got the Iridium Snake Juice, and that gave me a permanent health increase of 25, which was nice. I managed to finally hand in all of the minerals to Gunther. Got another magic rock candy back as a reward. That was pretty good. and I got Clint to break open over 40 mystery boxes. I didn't get a whole lot of good stuff, but I did get a mystery hat, which was really cool. I thought it was the coolest hat ever. I put it on straight away. Our raccoon friend was looking for some geodes and a diamond. I had those on hand. I gave him in straight away. Thanks, Bobo, take this. And I got a jungle tank, a really cool fishing tank that I can put fish into. I also had to look to see if his wife got the jungle tank, and she did, and I can get more by just putting in some broken glasses. The things these raccoons find as valuable is just crazy. So it was time for the night market. I gave Penny some flowers so we could become girlfriend and boyfriend, and it was time to take the relationship to the next step. It was then time to pull up the spookfish, followed by the blobfish, followed by the last fish that we needed, the midnight squid, for the master angler achievement. That was all of the fish now caught, and that was going to be a nice star drop off Willy the next day. There was just a small handful of star drops now left to get. We're almost there with the star drop challenge. We still needed one from Gunther, and we also needed one via marriage from whoever our spouse is going to be. So we're going to go with Cave Patrol now with Clint, and we're going to kill some dust sprites. We need dust sprites for the monster eradication goal anyway, and I also wanted to use my new parrot trinket to get lots of money. So there was loads of reasons we could go back in and start killing dust sprites. It was now time to take another key quest. We had Key's Kindness and Extended Family. Now I chose Extended Family because I want to experiment using the new 1.6 updates. I want to see if I can exploit this quest, abuse it, and make hundreds of thousands of gold. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now, using some of the new artisan equipment that we got. For example, the fish smoker. I also had enough key gems to get 3 galaxy souls, and I'm actually going to build myself a mini forge and use that over in Stardew Valley to upgrade my weapon to an infinity weapon instead of going into the volcano and using the big dwarvish forge inside there. The mini forge works the exact same way as the dwarvish forge. You could just use it wherever you want, which is really handy. After 3 galaxy souls, our galaxy weapon turns into an infinity weapon. It becomes way stronger. Now, while the extended fishing quest is active, unless we capture all of the legendary fish, we can pull up as much of the same legendary fish as we wish. The legend too goes for the exact same price as the legend. I pulled up about 5 of these. I'm going to smoke them all, and I'm going to make an absolute ton of money. Fishing has just become totally overpowered in Stardew Valley. It has become the new end game moneymaker in my opinion. I mean, this thing sells for 31,000 gold a pop. I'm going to get 157,000 gold, and that was just a modest day's fishing. I can prep for that way better. I dare say I could probably get 10 of those a day to make some serious cash. When I was finished experimenting, I decided to finish off the quest, so I got the rest of the legendary fish. For some reason I couldn't fish up the Son of the Crimson Fish, and I think it was because there was an event going on, so maybe I had to wait. Look at the amount of money I made here from fishing. I made over 150,000, it was just insane. The next day I pulled up the Son of the Crimson Fish, and it was back down into the mines, and we were killing dust sprites. To be honest, we were killing anything that moved because everything had a chance to drop at least 250 gold on defeat. Getting these ambush rooms was just amazing. I was just getting so much money from killing monsters. It was just absolutely insane. I didn't need to farm anymore. I was just getting so much money from killing stuff. I finally reached a new level of understanding. That is another mastery level. It's 20,000 XP now to get the third one. I also finished off the Cave Patrol quest. That was 6,000 gold in the bag, and Clint will more than likely send me on the Geocrusher the next day. I had to choose another mastery. Which one was going to pick? I was going to go with the foraging. I really wanted to find out how that mystic tree seed worked and how the treasure totem worked, and I think that the golden mystery boxes too would be a game changer because the mystery boxes are just so common, and to get upgraded golden ones sounded like a good way to go. To make the treasure totem I needed hardwood, mystic syrup and moss, and it basically says use a diggable terrain to summon a ring of treasure spots. That sounded very interesting. To make the mystic tree seed, I just needed 5 of each tree seed: acorn, maple seed, pinecone and mahogany seed. So I made 3 of these mystic tree seeds. I'm going to plant them down on the farm, and I'm also going to put down some fertilizer so they grow up really quickly. It was going to be very interesting to see, first of all, what the trees look like, and second of all, when we put tappers on them, if we can put tappers on them, what kind of stuff we're going to get. Clint sent me the recipe for the Geocrusher the next day. I then had him breaking open artifact troves because I really wanted to finish out the museum before the first year was over. I was down in the mines trying to get some artifacts to finish up the museum quest. I picked up a new trinket here, a blue-green frog egg. Summons a hungry frog companion. Now, I just want to say this frog is absolutely insane. He can one-shot any enemy in the game. The only downfall is that when he eats an enemy, it does take him a good 20 seconds or so to deflate himself before he'll eat some other enemy. Now, when I say he'll eat any enemy, I mean that. He will eat anything. He'll eat bugs, serpents, the big, huge, large serpents. He'll eat mummies. He'll eat mummies when they're regenerating. He'll gobble them all up, no problem. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Speaking of gobble, we finally got some garlic seeds from doing the skull carving runs. That means we're going to get 5 more lovely golden walnuts from our fabulous froggy friend. But we're not just finished there. We only had a few golden walnuts left to get. So we might get to Georgia Parrot to find the rest, just to see what it looks like. I purchased the Book of Stars. It gives us XP towards all core professions. To be honest, I purchased every single skill book here because I had the money to do so. And it would be nice to get more mastery levels. After accessing all these skill books, I had a quick look at my mastery gauge. And to be honest, it didn't fill that fast, you know. It got a little bit of a meter, but we are just better off planting down crops. So because there was only a few golden walnuts left to find, I only had to pay 70,000 gold for this Georgia Parrot to fly around and get the rest of the walnuts for me. Now, it does give a warning here, and it says that it recommends you don't do this if you want to experience the full joint experience. I've experienced it loads of times, so I went ahead and done it. I also got a special charm here by handing in a rabbit's foot, which is a permanent luck increase. And I'm also going to get Robin to upgrade our house to get into the next tier as well. Here is a fabulous cutscene of Morris, relaxed on Ginger Island with a big bag of gold, and all of the golden parrots picking up the walnuts. Oh, it's just hilarious. That is all of the golden walnuts found for this challenge. Nice one, Morris. So I'm getting golden mystery boxes now, which is pretty cool. It'll be exciting to see Clint break those open. We'll see what kind of goodies we get inside. I picked up a new trinket today. I got the magic quiver, and this is quite an interesting trinket. Shoots a magic arrow at nearby enemies every 1.9 seconds, dealing 14 to 19 damage. So it just passively fires out arrows every few seconds, which is really cool. I put it on straight away to see how it done against regular enemies, and it just wasn't doing it for me. I mean, I know it does handy damage, but with the weapons I have now, that bat would have been dead in one hit. So I feel like it's not a great trinket because by the time you get it, you're taking on enemies with hundreds of HP. It's just not doing the damage that I think it should be doing, you know? So I'm getting Clint to break open more boxes here now. Lovely golden mystical boxes. I got a mystical shirt. That's going to go so nice with my mystical hat. So I'm going to put that on straight away. Other than that, I just got more mixed seeds and other bits and bobs. So this time we're going to go with Robin's Resource Rush. We're going to collect 1,000 pieces of wood in a week. That'll be easy enough to do. There's tons of trees here on Ginger Island that we can cut down. And we also get a lot more friendship points with Robin for that too. We finally got Danger in the Deep. We can now do the hardened versions of the regular cave. So it's going to be interesting now to see how quickly we can get down through that. Raccoon says, help us and I'll give you something nice. No problem at all. The raccoon wanted dried purple mushrooms and 5 cave carrots. I actually had the purple mushrooms and I had the cave carrots, so I was able to do that quest fairly quickly. I also used the fairy dust to speed up the dehydrator because I didn't want to wait a day for the purple mushrooms to process. I went down with my lovely horse Katie and I managed to give him the items on the same day that he asked for them. He says, thanks Bobo, take this. This never gets old. He gave me a milk. It was so disappointing. Why would you give me a milk of all things? I'm after giving him purple mushrooms and cave carrots. I had a look at the extended stock though, and it's interesting to see that I can trade mystic syrup for fairy dust. I'm pretty sure those trees I'm growing would generate mystic syrup. So we're down now in the hardened versions of the mines, and I just want to get down to floor 120 as quickly as possible, just so I can toggle the difficulty on these mines on and off at my leisure. Also to pick up those lovely key gems. If I see radioactive ores, I'll pick them up straight away, because I still need lots of radioactive ores and radioactive bars to make some of the endgame items Stardew Valley has to offer. Slaying all these enemies is just super profitable. Having the bug killer comes in very handy for all bug type enemies. There's a few bug type enemies down here too in the middle there, so just come in handy fighting those, especially the spiders that jump around the place. The last item I needed was the bone flute. I gave that in, and that was the whole collection complete. As a reward, Gunther is going to give me another star drop. All I needed now was just one more star drop from the marriage, and that would be all the star drops gotten. So we're back down in the hardened versions of the mines on floor 82 now. I got some hyper speed growth there, that was nice. This is just an example of how hectic things can get down in the bottom floors. Enemies can spawn all over the place. And if you come down here with a monster musk, there's even more enemies. Could you imagine coming down here with a level 5 parrot and a monster musk? Think of the amount of money you would make. It was time for the winter start event, and I had Clint. I gave him a gold bar, which is a loved gift. He was super happy with that. As for my secret Santa, I got Demetrius. And Demetrius, unfortunately, gave me a pumpkin pie. I mean, it was such a letdown, you know. I was hoping for a tea set or something like that, or, you know, some sort of a better item. So our first mystic tree has fully grown, and I put a tap around straight away. That's going to give us mystic syrup, which is really interesting. And we finally got our way down to the bottom of the mines, got some key gems there as well. And that's a little console there where we can toggle the difficulty on and off. So if you want to farm radioactive ore, for example, we can do just that. I got Clint here to break open some more golden mystery boxes, and I managed to pick up a new Book of Power. And this Book of Power basically allows us to sell artifacts at a higher price, which is fairly cool. You fetch a better price when selling artifacts. It was then back to good old Ginger Island. We're cutting down trees for Robin's resource rush to get 1,000 pieces of wood in total. When I was finished with Ginger Island, I went over to the desert to cut down some trees over there. I picked up a forager's hat from cutting down a tree. It looked pretty cool, but it just didn't beat the mystery hat. I think that mystery hat is one of the coolest hats in the game. When I finished Robin's resource rush, got a few thousand gold, and I then decided to take Penny to the cinema, and I got her cotton candy because that's one of her favourite foods, and we then went to watch The Miracle at Co-Star Ranch yet again. What a movie! Just never gets boring. I finally got Penny up to maximum hearts, so now we can get married. But we won't see it in this video, folks. Let me know if you want to see a 200-day continuation. I'd be very happy to sit down and put hundreds of hours into it. Thanks again everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. I know it was a really long video, but I just got so excited because there was so much new content to show. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you made it this far. It really helps me out. I'd love to be a full-time YouTuber again. I'd love to do this every day. It's the 25th of March. Big happy birthday to my wife. I love you so much. Thanks so much for supporting me in my YouTube endeavour. I'll see you all, everyone, in the next video. So for now, have a good cozy week. Thanks again for watching.